Hey, good morning, everybody. If anybody's here, Happy New Year. Um, yeah, I just wanted to come on for a bit, wish everybody a Happy New Year, and see if anybody was bored and wanted to get into a discussion. Uh, sure has been a shit show of a year. Hey, Bradley, Happy New Year. Thanks for coming, man. Yeah, gas prices up more than $1 a gallon, food out of sight, just anything you need to buy. Uh, Getting to the point that now you're going to have to give something up to have something you need. I worry about people that have to take all this medication and stuff. Um, it, what in the world are they going to do? Um, yeah, just the outrageous things that have gone on this year. It's kind of hard to believe that it's reality. Um, I don't know, but anyway, it's a new year, so I do wish a prosperous and good year to everybody. We've lost some folks along the way this year, and that's always sad. But maybe we can look forward to. It's always a new beginning. It's shit. It's just the clock going past midnight, but it is a milestone that we've created. I guess always a chance to start over. Just like every new morning. Yeah, Bradley, I worry about some of these folks. Thank God I don't have that issue. Uh, I've been blessed with pretty good health and don't need things like that. I do a lot of supplements and stuff like that, but nothing that I can't do without. But there are folks that are going to have a tough year because this is not going to get better this year. This is only going to get probably worse. I don't know. Um, Give me a second here. I am going to set up links to come on with me if anybody wants to. Uh, yeah, man, I get that. My mother-in-law is too, and she's in a assisted living facility. And yeah, man, I don't know what's going to happen with us. I really don't. Give me a second here to put this link in. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going to happen with us. I really don't. Give me a second here to put this link. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going to happen with us. I really don't. Give me a second here to put this link. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going to happen with us. I really don't. Give me a second here to put this. See if that worked. I don't know. What I have to do now is mute. Hang tight. See if that worked. I don't know how to run my own stream. Okay, Bradley. Yeah, get that thing cranked up. I don't know where you are, but some of you folks are cold. Down around 14 degrees below zero, somebody said last night. Oh, man. Yeah, we're pretty nice here. 58 degrees, believe it or not, here on New Year's Eve in West Virginia. I've seen it a lot colder than that. But winter will come. Nebraska. Oh, mercy. 5 below. Yeah, better you than me, brother. I mean, I don't want to wish you any bad luck, but I'm enjoying 58. Got to tell you. Um, yeah, if anybody's there that isn't commenting in the chat, you want to come up, I think it's set up that you can if you want to. I don't know. Hey, Miss Virginia Roots, Happy New Year to you. Can you see a link? If you want to come up, you can. I didn't have too much to talk about. I just thought maybe some folks might want to get together and have a conversation. Um, I'm just rambling. I haven't had a beer for 2 years. I was seriously considering, yeah, I'm going to have a nice cold beer tonight. I haven't had a Heineken in, oh dear, 10 years. And I have some out in the refrigerator in my shop. And hmm, over, well, tonight, a girl on Fox News, she definitely had too much, showed her ass. Over the last few days, I've seen some folks on some podcasts that definitely had too much. And I showed this one film to my wife. I said, because I was bad at one time. I said, baby, was I ever that bad? I don't know whether she was telling the truth or just trying to soothe my feelings, but she said, no, I've never seen you that bad. Hey, Tony Smith, my brother, how you doing? Uh, Tony, do I remember you? Are you close enough to Lexington to be considering going down there next month or up there, wherever you are? Uh, I'm kind of thinking about it. I haven't made up my mind yet, but yeah. Anyway, instead of beer, Happy New Year, because I just don't want to show my ass tonight. It's sad what alcohol does to some people. It really is. Virginia, is there a link? I mean, is it possible? I don't know. Yeah, it's up there. All right, Virginia. It's the first time I did it on my own. I had help the last time. Once you've done it, it's not that hard to remember if you keep doing it. And I got to do this more often. There's just hey, other people are doing a fine job, and I watch and sometimes join them. So it works out. It's all right. It's not necessary for me to be on here every night. But trust me, I'll get a burr up my ass and I'll be here because somebody has to keep talking about these things. This is the year I think where the difference is going to, at least the beginning of a difference can be seen. Thanks, Virginia. I'll do my best. Uh, hey, we're only like 10 months away now from some critical decisions that we all have to be involved in making. Because if we don't get involved this time, we're going to be left behind. I'm telling you. Hello, Bug Dude. Thanks for showing up. Um, and I'm going to be chirping about this the whole year because we've got to get out. We've got to talk to our neighbors. We've got to talk to our friends. And we have to learn how to get along with people that don't see exactly the same way we do so that we can maybe turn them around to a different way of thinking. And it all starts with us. Best life. Cold out there, I bet, brother. Tony, if we show up in numbers that'll overwhelm any of what I like to call fortification, because that's what they seem to want to call it, it can be done. We can overwhelm any rascality that might be going on if we get out there in numbers. Eddie James, so happy to see you, man. The stream team. But it should be a good year if we work 12 below zero. You probably can't pee off the porch now, can you, best life? F home. Good evening. Good morning. It is. Yeah, I thought I'd like to hang out until California New Year's. It's got to be midnight somewhere in the United States, and now my mind's confused about time zones. Eastern was 2 hours ago. That was mine. Central was an hour ago. That was Nashville. Nicole, happy New Year to you. You vacationing. Denver in 5 minutes. That's mountain time, right? So there's four time zones. I was thinking only, no, because California, yeah, never mind. I'm just rambling. And Tony, I think a few things have changed in several states, though, man. So we can't throw our hands up and give up. I mean, we sure can't. I mean, if we're going to give up, I don't know. Miss Independent, happy to see you. Hey, anybody that wants to come up here and help me out is more than welcome, let me tell you. Yeah, Tony, I know they'll try to do it again, but we got to hit them off at the pass, brother. Yeah, November. Let's make it like Fredericksburg, man. Let's secure a victory. There you go, man. Another plan. That's for sure. That is for sure. All right, Independent. You ain't gonna do to me what they did to you, are you?
Nope, I promise.
Good
It's
morning
me.
and
Oh, hold
happy
on.
New Year.
Let me mute. Sorry, rookie.
You're
All right, there
good.
we go. Happy New Year, Tom.
Thank you, ma'am. You too.
I probably can't be up here too long. My son is still awake. My daughter's asleep on my lap.
Oh,
So
jeez.
we're having a ruckus New Year over here.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm way past that age. There's no little ones here. My wife is bored with me. So, you know, here we are.
Well, I hope you have a good beer or something.
It's got to be a good
Or
year. I
something
mean,
like that.
it'll be what we make it, really, won't it?
Yeah, yeah. I've had some interesting conversations tonight with different people talking about their resolutions or their prayers or their, intentions for the year. And people seem to be kind of all over the place, which is good because I feel like that's how I am, just myself, all over the place.
Well, man, my intention is not to be lazy
Hmm.
and to be as positive as possible, which I usually am, uh, and to not comply.
Yeah,
And I've been okay with that over the last 2 years, and I'm going to continue that and just keep trying to point out the truth.
yeah. I think pointing out the truth is something that I've been working on for sure. Um, you know, and now trying to kind of get my channel going a little more. I'm hoping to continue to do that.
Yeah,
Um, but it's actually for me, it's been a lot easier to do that online and with different online communities than with people, in real life, so to speak, in person. Um, I'm in the Seattle area, so it's a lot of people here are still very much caught up in the mainstream narrative. Um,
yeah,
and so I'm not really in touch with a lot of people that are of opposing viewpoints, They're I'm not jabbed, so that kind of eliminates a lot of the face to face for a lot of them.
yeah,
And so it's tricky. It's tricky to try to reach across the aisle, even though that's what I want to do.
yeah. I understand. It is a question of opportunity. Happy New Year in the mountains out there.
Happy New Year, Nicole.
It's midnight. Yeah, I understand what you're saying because we tend to gravitate toward uh, the same kind of thinking that we have.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
but I think
go
one
ahead.
thing that the opposing side has done, so to speak, has done so well is in making it so that even people who would normally have reached across aren't comfortable doing that, you know?
Yeah,
But like you said, we gotta make of it what we can. So we have to try to stay in a positive mindset and see what we do have control over. And not complying is one of those things. One of my goals for this year is to be comfortable with concealed carry. Just something,
yes,
that's kind of small, but
have you not done that until recently?
no, I've always been comfortable around 2As. I've always, I grew up with three older brothers who all had them, and we'd always go out shooting together and stuff. So I'm really comfortable with them, and I know, they're all really big on gun safety. So, um, I'm comfortable with them. But I never had my own. I actually bought my first with my first stimulus check, and
Awesome.
but I've never carried regularly. So it's something I want to, kind of work my way up to so that I feel comfortable doing it. I feel like it's something that, is more necessary now than ever. So
Well, that's why they issued those checks. That's exactly what that's
yeah,
for.
that and freedom seeds, I'm sure was what they were hoping for.
Have you gone out and got taken the classes and got your permit yet?
I have not, no. And we do in my state, I'm in Washington state, you do need to have a permit for concealed carry. So at this point, I'm looking at more like becoming comfortable at home, um, you know, while I get that process going. But it's on my list of to dos and goals for this year.
Good, good. I'll have to tell you a funny story. Uh, I'm not sure if I was married. Yeah, no, I was not married to my wife. Yes, I was. And it was the first fall we were married. And of course, she decided she wanted to go deer hunting with me. And the area where I was hunting was national forest. So my friend's farm bordered national forest. So we were going to walk to the fence, hop across the fence, and we'd be in national forest and then go to the area where I hunt. So we got across the fence and I stopped and I started loading my rifle. And this little beauty from Washington, D.C. stood there and put her hands on her hips and said, "You mean to tell me we're going to be walking through the woods with a loaded gun?" And I said, "Yeah, they don't tend to wait for you to load."
Right.
And we've progressed from that to when I first decided to start carrying concealed. I had to get a permit. I wanted the permit. Oh, this was 7 or 8 years ago now. And she says, "Well, I want to go to that class with you." And I said, "You do?" "Yeah, I do."
That's great.
And she passed the thing with flying colors, and the live fire part of it. She just, I mean, I created a monster with this girl.
Now does she outshoot you?
You know what? I'm not admitting that. I got nothing to say about
Well, my
that.
brothers they called me Annie Oakley, and my brothers and cousins and I did a shooting competition, and I didn't win. I came in second, but it really, really got under a lot of their skin that I was in second even.
We've never really had a
They were a little proud
competition,
too, though.
but we do shoot together occasionally. We haven't been as much as we should be, but
Hmm.
yeah, my wife wants to learn to shoot. Don't stand in her way because she hits. She's good.
Nice.
So that's a comfort.
Yeah.
And she had to have the same pistol that the instructor at the course had for the live fire.
Hmm.
So yeah, she's happy, and she'll suggest going out shooting more than I do. So I'm proud of her. I really am.
That's great. Do you think she'll ever come on and come say hi to all of us, Tom?
Oh, it's that's not out of the realm of possibility. She's always into her own thing, and she considers this my thing. And
Mhm.
but she might. I have got
Yeah.
her to. She'll tune in YouTube on her own computer upstairs and watch some of the things I do.
Mhm. Yeah, I understand that. My husband, he knows about all of you guys. Like I tell him, I'm like, oh yeah, I Tom brought this up today, or I learned this from Moose, or whatever. Like different people he knows about. But it's not really his thing.
Yeah,
I
well,
think he's I think he's kind of grateful, and I think I've heard others say this too. Some of you have said this. I think he's like grateful that I have other people to talk about these things more in depth with, or to like, you know, process all of this with.
yeah, yeah,
It's kind of
yeah. I
healthy
tell
to have
people
our own
she's
interests,
tired
you
of
know.
hearing it. My neighbors are tired of hearing it, so that's why I came on here and went public.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did.
Oh, I am too, and I still get uncomfortable just before it's time to set it up, and then I think, why?
Hmm.
You're in your living room, ain't nobody can hurt you. I don't mind being made fun of. Best life. I'm happy for you too, man.
That's great. I saw Virginia made a comment about, you know, the fear would be watching the Constitution being dismantled, and what that would look like for our kids. And I know, I have two young kids, and that's definitely at the forefront. I feel like that mama bear instinct in me is like constantly kind of on alert.
Yeah, uh, and I had missed that comment, but I see what she said, and
Hmm.
wow, the Constitution dismantled, and who would do that? Tyrants. And I think they can only try. I think once that actually starts, hate to see it happen.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, in some ways, I think it started. I think it's just at a snail's pace compared to what we might have thought that would look like.
at an attempt, but do we really
Yeah, an
see
attempt.
progress being made on that? I don't know. I don't. I'd like to think no. I think it's in peril,
Hmm.
but not if we all stay vigilant. Those of us that love it, although
Yeah.
it's been violated before, and they got away with it. And I'm not going to get into that, but uh, yeah, I don't know. It scares me,
Hmm.
and I honestly probably don't think I'll be around to see real shit hit the fan. But I do worry about the future.
I was about to say, Tom, I hope you're right. And then I realized that that doesn't sound that doesn't sound right either. But you know what I
All right, that's like the old joke, and you'll
that's a
appreciate
catch
this.
22.
Uh, Two old friends met. They hadn't seen each other for years, and one guy said, "Bill, it's good to see you." He said, "How's your wife?" Bill said, "Well, she's in heaven." And his buddy said, "Well, I'm really sorry to hear that." He thought, "Well, that doesn't sound right." He said, "Well, I'm happy to hear that. That definitely doesn't sound right." He said, "Well, I sure am surprised."
That's not quite right either. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's one of those things. You can't win for trying.
right.
Well, hey Tom, I'm sorry my daughter's starting to stir a little bit, and I got to get these kiddos in bed. But thank you so much for having me up real quick. And
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna put my information in the private chat before I drop down. But Happy New Year.
Okay, and Happy New Year to you. And I got no clue how to find the private chat, but yes,
Oh,
I see it. So,
all right. I
okay,
haven't put it in there yet, but I will before I drop out.
thank you so
All
much.
right. God
Happy
bless,
New
Tom.
Year. Blessings. All right, great. Um, if anybody else wants to come up, please help yourselves. Excuse me just a moment. All right. Bear with me just a moment while I copy something down. And, sorry about that.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
What's going on with you?
Right when you put me on, I look down at my computer and it says 1111.
What does that mean?
The time is 11:11 Pacific time.
Okay. Do you know what that signifies? Because I've seen that 1111 in several places, and I got no idea what it means.
I cannot speak to that with confidence.
Okay.
There's all kinds of things that go down with numerology, but like
Well, the
people
way I've seen
see
it
the
written is the
patterns,
time. It's 11:11.
right?
So I don't know whether that's some religious expression.
Right? Or maybe a scripture verse or,
I don't know. Hey, Bella. Good to
hey,
see you.
Bella.
Yeah, I didn't mean to take anything away from Hawk, but I just can only watch so much of those videos.
Hmm. Yeah, we all need a break and to chat a little bit. It's all good.
Well, yeah, and when they're just having a conversation, yeah, I'm all into that. But if I wanted to watch videos, I could go find them, I guess.
Yep. I go in and out of Hawks all day and just listen, to all the news and information and, uh, have it in the background. But we have to take a break and just
Yeah,
enjoy.
and you always got to check up on the puppies too.
Right? For sure. And the next litter is due relatively soon,
He said maybe next weekend.
right?
That's what
Yeah.
I thought he said. I don't know what he's going to do with all those dogs.
Well, I think there are 8 or 9 left right now. And that litter, I mean, it could be anything from just a few to a dozen. So, yeah.
Well, now the ones that are actually ready to go, there's only like 3 of them left, right?
Yeah, I think so. 2
Yeah,
or 3, because I don't know the one that Ghetto got. I'm not sure if that's leaves it at 3 or 2. I think 3.
yeah, I believe 3.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I wish Ghetto was here. That dog is gonna make him pull his hair out or rub it out, or I guess he don't have it's not long enough to pull, but that dog's gonna make that boy crazy.
Well, the dog is going to train him. That's how that goes.
That's for sure. I had to love it last night. The dog was chewing on his door. My front porch has a seat board. Are you familiar with those old country front porches?
Explain what you're talking about.
Well,
Maybe I can
around
visualize it.
the edge of the porch, you got this little wall, 2.5 feet high, maybe.
Okay.
And then on
Gotcha.
top of that wall, there's a wide board, at least 12 inches wide.
Hmm.
And if you've got a big crowd of people, people can sit on that. It's called a seat board,
Right.
all the way around the porch, like a bench, big bench. So anyway, of course, it ends where the steps are, where you come up on the porch. And for years, there was this mark where the whole corner of that board had been chewed off
Oh, no.
by some German Shepherd puppy.
Right.
I've had so many of them. and we had that replaced last summer. And it broke my heart to take away that chew mark. Here's Best
Right.
Life. Hey, Best
What's
Life.
up, Billy?
What's up?
How you doing?
How's it going?
Going good here, man.
So
lot
I'm
warmer than
45
you are.
minutes from the new year. Are you 15 minutes into the new year or an hour and 15 minutes into the new year?
I am 15 minutes in,
Rock on.
so
Happy
I'm
New
2
Year.
hours
My
and
computer's
15 minutes.
1/1/2022.
Awesome. Yep.
We're speaking across time because it's only December 31st to me still. We're breaking the matrix right now, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time
Oh,
and
my
space.
brother's in here.
Hey, Chris.
Hello,
Bugsy,
Chris.
that's really interesting.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Did you say 15 below out there?
Yeah, let me see.
Good.
Right now it's minus 13.
What? Okay, at what temperature do you not even feel it anymore?
Once it gets to like negative, once it gets to negative, it's just cold.
Yeah.
So now like minus 20, that it starts hurting. So even I don't know, there she is. Even she at minus 20 wants to come inside.
Well, and she should.
So
Yeah.
You know, you can get out there so long, and if you're busy, you know, working or doing something, you can actually end up being injured by cold before you realize it happened.
Mm.
Right.
But Best Life, between you and me, there's 69 degrees of difference. So
Oh, shit. Wow.
that's an entire climate, man.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at 23 right now, so we've got 36 degrees of different, 37, 36.
Yeah, it's pretty cold. I'm running the wood stove so hard that it's got coals in it like 8 inches deep. I can't even hardly get any more
You
firewood
can't.
in there.
You can't shut it down long enough to empty it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. It's cold.
Do you have to work outside?
No, I don't.
Good.
So, and then I napped all day, knowing that it was going to be so cold tonight because I knew I was going to be up most of the night, keeping it warm.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense, though. I do similar. It is so freaking cold. I just run through it overnight. It gets down to the teens right now. It's ridiculous.
Well, and you got to
It's supposed to
stay
warm
up.
up a little tomorrow.
You got to protect your water pipes. I mean, once they freeze in weather like that, you are totally screwed.
For sure.
Yeah, that's already happened.
Oh, really?
I got no water coming. I got no water in the house right now.
Oh,
it's
wow.
Somewhere
Hey,
in
Terry.
between the well house and the house, it's frozen.
So what's the most reasonable way to try and stop that from happening? To prevent that? Like, I even think my neighbor's pipes blew the other day. And sometimes I'm thinking, okay, well, what's the most reasonable way to stop that?
Well, with mine,
Well,
go ahead, man.
the problem with mine is it's not buried deep enough.
Oh, is that it?
Oh, okay. All right.
You know,
Yeah, Nicole's got
Nicole
to
let the water drip.
let it
Yeah.
drip. But then if you got a water pump, you're making it hard on your pump,
Yep.
letting water drip all the time. If you have city water, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I do have city water. My neighbor's blew because it was put together shitty, and they've been in that house for like 20 years. It never happened before, and they didn't discover the problem of how it was installed until it just blew the other day.
Oh man, so it didn't freeze; it blew apart.
It did freeze and burst.
Oh.
It was put on the wrong side of the insulation, and it had not gotten cold enough in all this time to finally crack it, you know.
All right. Well, knock wood, I've been very lucky. My pipes from the well to the house are buried real deep and insulated with a couple of feet of sawdust. And it's never frozen. And then the little room where it comes up through the floor into the house, you know, all it takes is just a tiny little heater in there, no matter how cold it gets outside. And fortunately, I've never had any problems because I try to stay on top of it. We haven't had any real extreme cold here for years, though. But I've seen it 14 below here.
Wow.
And other people at the time were calling me to come fix it. No, sorry, I don't do frozen plumbing.
I have pipes freeze in the house once in a while, but so far none of them broke. It's all PEX.
That's very forgiving.
Yeah, it seems to be able to freeze and not break pretty good. So that's nice.
Yeah.
It is still running at the pump house. So I've been going down there every day or two and filling up jugs and buckets and anything I could find to fill up with water.
Well, at least you're not completely without water.
Right.
But now, do you think you're going to have a rupture underground when this breaks?
Probably not. It did this last year, and it didn't. I didn't have a leak. Well, I mean, I don't know. There wasn't no puddle coming up out of the ground. It holds pressure.
Okay, well,
So.
then you've probably got that black plastic running under the ground anyway, right? Yeah, so that's swell a little bit like pegs.
My brother down there in the chat, he's going to come up here and dig the 300-foot trench this spring.
Oh,
6
yeah?
feet deep.
He
doesn't know it yet.
Oh, he didn't sign yet, but he's doing it. Good luck with that, Chris.
Yeah.
He has a backhoe, I guess?
No.
Oh,
No, he'll do it with a shovel. No, actually, the plan, hopefully, my neighbor has a trencher. Hopefully, he'll let me borrow it, and I'm going to try to get a new pump house done and a new line and all that.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is my second year. It's my third winter here, but it's my second one where it's frozen up solid like this.
Well, you can't. Eventually, that pipe's going to break. So,
yeah.
Does your water come from a well or a spring?
It's a well.
Okay. How deep is it? Do you know?
I don't. When I bought the place, they actually couldn't find records on the well.
Mm.
So I know they average
So
around
how can you measure that? Is there a way?
Yeah, you could like drop a string down it with a rope or with a rock on the end or something and measure it, but I'm not doing that.
Who's thinking about that, right?
They average somewhere like 150 to 250 around here. I know that. So it's deep.
Deep well.
Yeah.
And your pump is up in the well house, right? Or is it down in the well?
It's down in the wellhead, yeah.
Oh, it's a submersible pump. Okay. Oh,
Yep.
a pain in the neck to pull that one out.
Yeah. And then the pressure tank's down in the well house too.
Right. All right.
So a lot of people out here have their pressure tanks in the house, but mine's not.
Uh-huh.
So far the well house is staying warm. I went down there last year. The well house froze too. I went down there before it got real cold, and I wrapped a couple old sleeping bags around the well house, and that actually seems to be working pretty good. I got 2 heat lamps going out there.
Right.
Heat lamp's probably all you need, man.
Last year, the heat lamp wasn't enough
Really?
with just the well house when the wind starts blowing through it.
I'm gonna get your link in here, Best Life.
And
I
yet,
still haven't had a chance to watch your video with the chickens, the way that you heat up or keep them from freezing to death. But everybody in the chat, if you're not subscribed to Best Life, he's awesome. He has some really great videos.
Can you post his link?
Yeah, I'm getting it right now.
Okay, great. Thanks. How
No
many chickens you got?
My brother ain't joking in the chat either. He would dig a 300-foot trench 6 feet deep.
He's obviously got a very cool brother.
Right?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get a new cup. I'm gonna get a new cup of coffee real quick.
Go for it, man.
Dude, Best Life is one of the only people I know that drinks coffee about 24/7. He'll be on here at 2, 3 in the morning getting a cup of coffee. It is just rolling with it. Some people fall asleep when they drink coffee, though. I have people I know that they'll drink coffee and it puts them to bed.
Really?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
My kid's step grandfather, whatever that is. Yeah. They'll drink coffee to fall asleep. But the main ingredients in like Excedrin migraine are the pain reliever, the NSAID, and caffeine.
Caffeine.
So it does work to, relax some things for some people in a weird way.
I'm no good without that first couple of cups of coffee in the morning. But I can drink coffee pretty late in the evening and it won't keep me awake. Of course, I don't get to bed till 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning with you people running these talk shows. So,
Right. Hey, Terry Christ. Happy New Year, girl.
Hi, Terry.
Yeah, there's something to be said for the late night people. We're kind of up
Special breed.
waxing on it the whole day,
Well, we were talking about my work history last night, and part of that time that I worked for that college, well, quite a bit of that time, I worked 3 to 11 shift. And even though I attempted to get back on a normal schedule when I became self-employed, as soon as I retired, my body liked that 3 to 11 shift. And you get up about noon. You come home. I was getting home at midnight. You can't go straight to bed when you get home from work.
Right.
So 3, 4 o'clock in the morning is a reasonable, to me, time to go to bed. But my neighbors around here don't understand that. I mean, they whisper, "What's he up to late at night?"
Right. My family members are the same. I was a bartender, and I delivered newspapers. When we were talking about the jobs last night, and I was telling about the 1-800 numbers, my shift was 8 to 4 in the morning. So, when I did newspapers, it was midnight to 6 in the morning, or if I was bartending, it was still 3 in the morning. So, yeah, there's a complete world going on in the hours that most people aren't functioning, but there's an entire society of people working and doing and living, and we get used to it. I've always been that way, though, always been the night owl.
Yeah.
Just natural.
Well, we weren't all made to go to bed at dark. I know a lot of people that do that. But You know, back in caveman times, somebody was up all night to keep the rest of the tribe from being eaten by saber-toothed tigers. And I can say truthfully that since I have moved back here, not one of my neighbors has been eaten by a saber-toothed tiger.
Right?
So
It's got to be working.
it works.
I agree with your idea, though. There is a night watch. There are the people who have to, there's 24-hour watch required at the end of the day for us to survive. So
Yeah.
having the night crawlers is a good thing. Right, Bug Dude? Fire watch. Exactly.
There you
I
go.
actually looked into this because I was thinking the same thing Tom was thinking. Someone had to stay up and keep the fire going, make sure we weren't getting eaten by lions.
Right.
Mhm.
And they say there is people that actually that's their natural rhythm. So they wake up in the afternoon, and then in the late evening they kind of is when they get like going.
Right.
Yeah.
When they start moving and they do their thing, and um, a lot of like writers are like that apparently.
Yes. Interesting point.
It's more peaceful late at night. Always has been for me, and easier to think.
Yes. That's a really good point too. I told somebody one time, like, I don't know why, but my favorite place to be is the bathroom. And the person replied to me, well, that's when you can think. You're alone, the door is shut, it's quiet, unless it's your own body, you know, but it makes sense. And I'm the same way. I have full energy once everything around me starts to calm down. And at night, when it's calm, I can become alive. And then as soon as the sun starts to come up and it's about the hubbub of everyone's normal day, my body unwinds like a robot got unpulled. The sun just makes me go, and then I don't know. No, Bug Dude, I'm not a vampire. I anticipate, because I'm AI, that he's going to say I'm a vampire somewhere.
It kind of sucks this time of year because the days are so short. In
Yup.
summer, it's
Yeah.
not too bad. You wake up at 10 or 11 o'clock, you still got 10 hours of daylight.
Right.
But right now, I wake up at 10 o'clock and it's like you got 5 hours of daylight, 6 hours left. It's like, can't get nothing done.
Now, do you live in a mountainous area, Best Life?
A little bit. I'm in eastern Montana, so it's like the plains, but the area
Oh,
I'm
okay.
in kind of has hills and such, and pine trees. But if you go just a little ways away, it's just wide open and fairly flat, rolling hills.
So you get a little bit longer. But I was noticing, I live in a real deep valley. And
Right.
to the east of me, there are two ridges with a gap in between them. In the summertime, the sun comes up through that gap, and it comes up pretty early. In the wintertime, and I made it a point to notice the other day, the shortest day of the year,
Hmm.
the sun's further south and it comes up behind this ridge, and the sun does not hit my yard till 10 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And then on the other side of me to the west is another ridge, and it's gone by 4:30. So for us people that go ahead.
I got on the east, I get sun right away, but on the west, I got some mountains and ridges that
So it
kind
sets
of
pretty
go
early.
down. Yeah, sets earlier. So I know what you're
Well,
talking
we're
about.
gaining a minute a day right now. So by the end of January, it'll be an extra half hour.
Hmm.
And then after that, it starts rocking and rolling, and that always makes me feel better.
So, Best Life, do you get a long summer like I do? In the summer, it'll be light till about 10:30.
Yeah, the sun will come up at 5 o'clock, maybe even a little earlier, and it
Mhm.
won't be dark until a little. I think sun sets about 10 o'clock, but it's not dark till 10:30 or so.
Right.
Wow. Oh, that would be great.
Good
Not
night,
far.
Terry.
Good night, Terry, and Happy New Year to you. Rest well. But yeah, it's dark here in the summer by 9:30 down here.
Again, that's probably the same thing though. You're in the valley.
Yeah, but the sky is dark too. I mean, like here, even though
Okay.
the sun's gone, the sky is light. Uh, but there's a difference. You know, we need that old sun shining on us. It's good for us.
Right.
Right.
Good for your mind.
You know, what's
For
interesting
sure.
is the Northwest has a high incidence of MS, and it might, some theorize it might come down to vitamin D exposure, that we have so many months without any light whatsoever. Just get it in a 3-month shot.
MS, do you mean multiple sclerosis?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I
Yep.
didn't know light had anything to do with that.
Possibly vitamin D,
Really?
which we get from the sun mostly. So yeah, it's a theory, but
Well,
yeah,
probably just as good as any other.
right? That's a fact. "23 minutes till the new year on my side, west." So, hey, Devil Dog.
Mr. Devil Dog.
Do you know how to pin the link, Tom?
Oh, yeah, I thought I had. Is it not
Oh,
in?
let me double check. Oh, you did. You did. Okay.
Okay,
I was
yeah.
just asking because Devil Dog likes to say hi sometimes.
Well, he should come on up here. I
Yeah,
enjoy listening to him talk.
for sure.
My brother says your theory is fact.
Well, it looks like he's questioning it, so I'm not sure.
It's a fact that it's a theory. I
Yeah.
can tell you that. I don't know. There's a lot of theories with that. I know a few people with that. It's there's a few things, but I don't want to go down a medical rabbit hole and get us into that. So, what was the best part of your year, Tom?
The best part of my year.
Yep.
Now, let
Turning
me
the
think back
page.
a little bit.
That's an awesome
Um,
question.
Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna turn my camera off so I can get in the chat a little more.
okay. Hmm.
Mess with my brother.
You know, I've got to say, I have family down in South Carolina that I just recently discovered in the last 5, 6 years. And I made 2 trips down there to see them this year. That had to be the best part of my year.
Right.
And those trips spanned, I don't know, 6, 7 days altogether. But yeah, it was a impromptu family reunion that took place in July down there, and that was the best. That was the best of my year, no
Okay.
doubt about it.
What do you got, best life?
I don't know. I was gonna say my success in my garden, but it sounds kind of dumb compared to going and seeing your family.
Oh no! Success in a garden, man, is awesome.
That's actually my answer, and that's why I was like, okay, what do you got? Because all I have is that I did really good in some gardening things I was trying to learn, and it does sound lame, but I hear you.
Well, I can show you some gardening success that I am most proud of. Hang tight.
My first year was here. This was my second year. My first year gardening here was such a failure that doing good this year was awesome.
Right.
Anybody recognize this?
Cotton?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I grew that.
That is
Awesome.
freaking awesome. I looked up cotton seeds and I researched it a little bit. It didn't seem like it was going to grow great in my area, but I'm not giving up because I think it's a viable, delicious thing to grow. It's just funny. It's really cool plant, and a lot of people don't realize that it's basically a flower. It's
Yeah.
Nobody realizes that. You just think cotton comes from Hanes and Fruit of the Loom.
It comes out
it's
of
a
aspirin
flower.
bottles, for Christ's sake, you know?
Yes. Oh,
My
I
brothers
love it.
called me out because I did go see them this year.
Oh, damn, best life.
The problem with that was it was only it was too short. I only went down there for
That's
a day or
what she
two.
said.
It's
Ooh.
always too short.
Yeah,
both times, right?
but it was good to go see them.
How far apart
sure.
do you and Chris live?
About 500 miles now.
Oh, that's a trip.
They're in Colorado.
Okay. All right.
So
Hey, look at this here.
Oh, shit. All right.
Look
I'll
at
be
this
right
handsome
back.
boy.
Legit,
doing, man?
I have to go to the restroom. I'll be right back.
That's some bullshit.
What's
No,
bullshit?
it's not. I'm being honest at least. I'll be right back.
she took off running.
I'm giving women bowel movements. That's pretty messed up.
You excited her, man. She's like a puppy when she sees you.
I think she was going to puke.
Even worse. How you doing, Mr. Tom?
I am well. How are you? Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year. I'm quite well myself. I got about 10 minutes with y'all, and then if you're on later on, I'll come back. But gonna, ring in the new year with my girl. My kids
You
are
gotta
already
get
asleep.
Kiss, don't you?
Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
heard that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. None of y'all exist. I'm sorry. Not when that kiss is here. I gotta do it.
Hey, man, I've forsaken a lot of friends for a kiss too, buddy. So
Hey, that's how it's supposed to go.
yeah, if you have
No.
a mind.
Yeah. No, I kind of made my rounds tonight, and then it's like, all right, well, everybody's got until about 11:45, 11:50.
Yeah, well, it's 20 till, so
Yeah.
you got a lot of good snacks there.
Yeah, and we got our apple cider. I know how manly of us, but hey, that's what we like.
Is it real apple cider or that sweet stuff you bought from the grocery store?
Oh, this is stuff from the grocery store. I forgot what it's called, but you got to pop the cork and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
I ain't getting nothing. Yeah, it's good. I mean, you pop the top and all that. Yeah, I mean, it's not like
fermented.
home. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like homemade stuff or anything like that. That's what I thought you were asking. Like, is it that real stuff or?
I was 16 years old because I was driving, I think a junior in high school, and I went to a friend of mine's house. He was a year older than me. And he said, come here, man, follow me. And we went down. They had a small farm. Well, fairly good sized farm. Anyway, they had this equipment shed down there. And Harry took me into that equipment shed and slid the door back closed and said, look over here. And his dad had this wooden barrel with a wooden plug in the side of it. It was laying there on a stand. And Harry grabbed the water hose and stuck that water hose in that barrel, and we're drinking the old man's cider like it popped through a straw. And it didn't take very long, man. I could barely walk.
Yeah. Was that the first time you dipped in some cider?
That was my first time. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that was a good time then. And then it turned real bad, I imagine.
Later on.
Everything stopped being fun and everything started spinning.
Yeah. And, well, having that headache before, not even waking up with a headache. You had the headache before you made it to sleep. So
Oh,
but it was fun for a while.
yeah, it was worth it. Gave you a story to tell later.
Yeah, and his dad never did find out, so we got away with it.
Now, did he drink it before? Or was it I dare you to drink it and I will with you?
No, he knew it was there. He took me down there to show it to me, so I'm sure he'd been into it before.
Oh, okay. Now, remember, everybody, this was before they had electricity, so, they had to find themselves something to do.
Yeah, right.
Make sure you tell the missus Happy New Year's for me, please.
I certainly will, and yours
right.
the same. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
How's the pup?
Man, I got him bones. Now
Is he teaching you anything?
Nah, he ain't taught me shit. Not yet. He's working on it. Well, my poor dog, man. So where we're at, we have, American fireworks and we got regular fireworks kind of going off simultaneously everywhere. I'm keeping him outside more so that way he doesn't develop, not outside, but more in my garage. I'm trying to get him to not develop that being scared of it. And it doesn't seem to bother him. Well, my other dog is deathly afraid. He's thinking that my other dog's trying to play because she's running around scared. And so, he's pouncing and kind of doing his growl and, she's trying to tear him up. But mind you, she's like 14 years old, she can't really hurt him. I mean, she's not biting. Yeah, I'm hoping she does because, man, he's an asshole. He is, man. He chews on my floor, my feet, my shoes, my legs.
Oh, I saw you trying to get the charger away from him last night. That correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're pretty much baby-proof the house to where it's like, all right, well, and then, we did that last night. He started chewing on the dang freaking bed leg.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this son of a bitch.
Happy New Year, unspecified. Thanks for coming.
I never had a dog like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
He's gonna
I
need
was
a lot
laughing.
of where he came from at Hawk's house.
I have to put my word in too. Get
All
over.
Hey
right.
girl, nice to meet you.
This is Laura.
Oh, I'm terrible. I look terrible.
Hello. Oh, you beautiful
No,
as
you
ever.
don't.
Hello,
You
Miss
are
Laura.
beautiful.
No, but get over your dog. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be
All
cool.
right.
Dogs are awesome, and they get you. They just get you.
They do very much. Could you do me a favor, Mrs. Laura?
Yes.
Please. Could you smack Tom right in the back of the head for me?
One time. Just for
Just one time. Thank you.
I don't want to hurt him. I love him.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Man.
I was telling Virginia about the seatboard out on my front porch that I had to have replaced last summer. And
okay.
On the corner of it was this spot where some German Shepherd, I don't remember which one, had chewed the whole corner off of it.
Oh,
and of course, you just paint over it and go on, man. But it broke my heart to tear that piece of board out and lose that memory.
The memory of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I envy you, Mr. Tom. You got what I'm looking for, brother.
What do you mean?
My dog tore up a leather recliner, a couch,
a
couple holes in the wall. I locked her into a wire kennel one day when I went to work, and when I got home, she was at the front door greeting me.
Oh, wow.
I'm rethinking my stance on crates and kennels. I'm rethinking my stance. Just saying. I don't believe in it. I don't believe
I'll show you
in
this kennel I had to get for this dog.
Freaking steel. What I was saying, Tom, was I was just saying you got what me and my wife are aiming for. That's all.
She don't use it no more, but this is what I had to get to hold her.
That's a good crate. Yeah.
Dang, what was that? 1800s jail?
Right.
Freaking dog kennel.
No.
Yeah.
It's a room in a mental asylum 100 years ago.
Right? For midgets. or something. It's like for really small people.
Know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying? She's that. See how she put gnomes in it? Know what I'm saying?
I bought a crate for Scout because I felt the same way, Ghetto. I didn't care for him, and I was told, listen, give the crate a chance. So I bought one for him for downstairs, and I actually built one for the bedroom. And he viewed that crate as his safe spot. This room I'm in, you can't see it, but there's a door that leads into a room that we call the dining room. It never gets used as a dining room because we don't let nobody come over here to eat. But the crate, the front of it was right inside this door, and then back in the other room, we had it covered with blankets, so it was like a little cave.
Okay.
And that dude would see me getting ready to go somewhere and he would go stand in front of that crate to be let in. I mean, it takes a little time to train him to do this, but he knew that was where he belonged and he felt safe. But the funny part was the upstairs crate, it was smaller and he outgrew that. And we took it away. And you know, his whole life, that dog slept in that spot where that crate was.
All about routine. Huh? You German Shepherd too?
Yeah.
Well, maybe. I mean, I actually have this room. I'm building this. Like I said, it's a homemade closet. It used to be a good sized little bathroom, is what it used to be. For whatever reason, they took the bathroom, all the fixtures and the toilet and everything out, and it's essentially like a big walk-in closet. It was for our pantry, / prep stuff. But then I started doing the YouTube. All right, I can do that, soundproof it. I know it's not soundproof yet. It's probably a little echoey, but what I'm thinking though is that I'm thinking this might be his crate type of thing because this boy is up whining every hour on the hour, just wanting to do something. And I gotta sleep. I like my sleep. I don't sleep much, but when I do, I want to stay asleep. So I'm thinking this might be exactly what you're talking about, his safe spot, because I want him right next to me when I'm working or doing whatever on the computer and stuff.
Sure.
I would like to have him next to me. So I think I'm going to get him used to in here. And I have some old waterproof, like bamboo covers that we use for our mattresses. We have some old ones that I'm just going to put around the carpet and then just let him have his, one big bed in here. And see if I can't train him that way. There's nothing to chew up. Well, besides the floor, freaking asshole chews on the floor too. Carpet. He'll find a way, man. He'll find a way. But on that note, I appreciate you, Tom, and I may be back, half hour, something like that. But I got to get out of here.
Hey, blessings. Productive New Year for you, man. Good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
What's up, D-Dog?
Hey, how are you doing, Ghetto?
Hello, hello.
Crayons are the
shit. They the shit.
They are the best.
Mr. Billy, you guys have a happy New Year. I'll see y'all next year.
So long, man. Thank you.
Right.
How are you, D-Dog?
I don't know.
Okay. I got no idea what purple crayons mean.
Mm-hmm. It's a marine thing.
Okay. Yes. Now I know.
There's my boy Bug Out. Come play with us.
Bushido. Hello.
Dude, that Bug Out's video today, that looks so fun.
Dude, Bug Out is the shit. In fact, I'm going to put his link in. Devil Dog, I can't find your channel. Can you put it in the back and then I'll put it in the front? Or something like that?
Okay. I'll do you a favor and I just won't comment on it. And I'll give you a freebie this year, okay?
All right.
Okay. You feel better?
Yeah, I do. A little bit.
Does your face feel a little warm?
Actually, I can't believe you just said that. My cheeks are flushed. Yes.
You're welcome.
Why, thank you, sir. Happy New Year to you.
Private joke.
Happy New Year's to you. And Sir was my dad's name.
You know what? I had a teacup chihuahua who was 3.5 pounds, and his name was Sir.
Oh, cool. All right. Y'all excuse me for just a minute, please.
All right, there we go.
Yes, go
Okay.
get coffee.
So I come up and I scare away Tom and Ghetto. Gee, I'm doing good.
Yeah, you are. Well, way to flush the room.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
Oh man. All right, we got 4 minutes. We're gonna need a countdown shortly. All right, let's see.
Yep, I dropped my link in private for you.
Word. Got it. Okay, excellent.
Yep, I don't have any of my own content, but I'll tell you what, those playlists are to die for.
Rock on. I'm going to put your link in, and if people go under playlists, he has content there. So 1 sec.
Yeah, I figured it out. There's like 1,300 hours of playlists, but I'm not sure how many of those I actually opened up to the public. But it's all history.
Huh.
This is on your channel?
Yep.
1,300 hours?
Yep.
Yeah, you're
Wow.
on the spot.
Hey, Bullfrog, Happy New Year.
Yeah, I've had an account for, I don't know, since 2006. So a little bit of watching almost every day. And 90% of what I watch has to do with history,
Right.
that and law. Yeah, real law, not the crap they try to push at you at court.
All right. We're like 2 minutes from the West Coast New Year. So, on a positive note, what was your favorite part of the year, Double Dog?
Well, if I was in the West Coast, it would be today.
Because there you go.
Well, what happened today that makes it the favorite part of your year?
Last day.
Oh, okay. All right.
That it's over.
Yeah. Get on
Yep.
out of here.
Yep. And then my favorite part of next year will be, tomorrow.
Right. A new chance.
Yep.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And I'm down to 25, a package of 25 pocket constitutions out of 10,000 I got December 1st.
You buy
So, do you send those to people or give them away? Or
Every time an elected official gets one of these from me, they get a pocket constitution.
Excellent.
wow.
I print mine and we'll take them down to the stores and leave 25 or 30 and they go. People pick them up. They want to see them.
That is awesome.
So yeah. Well, we got to know what they intended for us when they put it together.
Right. The reason I use this one
Hmm.
is because right here it has Public Law 100, which states that the schools on September 17th every year has to teach the Constitution or they lose their federal funding for a year.
Really?
So you can shut down your public school for not doing their job.
So, who's going to enforce all of this when they're all ignoring it?
We the people.
It's our job.
All right, not to break the moment, but we have only a few seconds. There it went. Happy New Year,
New
West
Happy New
Year's.
Year's.
Coast.
Happy
Yeah.
New Year's avocado time.
Yeah, exactly.
So I got to stay up for 2 more hours because I have a couple of friends out in Hawaii that I have to call.
Right. My grandfather's on the Big Island. They do it. They have another couple hours. You're right.
Yep.
Guam
I have a
has
couple
even
of good
longer.
friends on the Big
Actually,
Island.
Guam passed before. They already did theirs, right?
Yep.
Yep. Guam is already done, so Hawaii will be the last U.S. spot. Unless I'm missing something in the Aleutians.
Well, I do
I don't
states,
know.
not territories.
Okay, there you go.
When they grow up to be important, then I'll remember them.
Yeah, bug out last night on, I want to say Ron's stream. We did the New Year for New Zealand. So it would have been right at 24 hours ago. We did that first turn.
Happy New Year's, lefties.
Chris, that's fucked up.
The funny thing is, as far as population, Chris is right, but it's only in the big cities. Whenever you get outside the big cities, it is so conservative. California, Oregon, Washington State, they all are.
It is. Yeah, I can attest to that 100%.
Yep.
What is it about cities that does that to people? Just the idea
Numbers.
of being rats in a maze, or what does that?
It's all
Zoning.
the free money.
Aha.
They create the zoning for all of the way that the local representatives are broken down. It benefits those large number cities. If you look at how Portland is broken down and how it affects the entire state of Oregon, for example, it's staggering. How much power, because they stretch those little needles out and make these little zones that get included that just swallow the whole thing. And that's my observation, though. I don't know.
Well, as far as congressional districting, they've gotten to the point when they have to redo the map for it. They take a little hair and put it into these big cities, and there's more population in that little hair than in the big scope of things.
Yeah.
I saw a map just the other day, and I think it was Oregon, but it seemed to me like Portland had like 2 congressional districts, or was part of 2 congressional districts.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go out to the eastern part of the state, and most of the state was 1 district.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure that was Oregon.
I'm from Oregon, and whether it was what you saw or not, I can attest that it's broken down that way. I'm from there, and the whole center of the state is nothing but canyons. There's almost no one there.
So
There
there's nobody
are
there.
several Indian reservations. There are a few towns, but the main population is on the coast. If you go to Southeast Oregon, you're in essentially Hell's Canyon. I believe it's called Hell's Canyon. I'll have to rack my brain on it. Anyway, you can mine sunstones out there, and it's a desolate place. No one there. So that entire area is controlled by the numbers in the capital, which is tiny, by the way. If you drive through the capital, Oregon, it's like, oh, that was it. Portland, Salem, it's the capital.
Yep.
Salem. Okay.
Yeah. It's a tiny town, has like 3 exits.
Wow.
So everyone goes to their county clerk and picks up their citizen's guide, right?
Nope.
You really should, because it'll actually give you a map of the districts.
I didn't know such a thing existed.
Nope, I didn't either. Rock on.
And you get a picture of every one of the enemies of the people.
Right.
I mean, all our elected representatives.
Well, they mail out something similar around here, but not with that much detail.
Well, that's probably what they send you, something like that.
Right.
That's at your county clerk's office too.
Does every state do that?
Yep. It gives you stuff, having to do with insurance and repairs and everything else. tells you the state laws, which are different than real law. That's
Very
real law.
interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it doesn't matter what state you're in. If you go to your Bill of Rights in the state constitution, every single one says that all political power is inherent in the people.
Yeah. The one thing that got to me with West Virginia's Constitution, because I have been, well, I'm a secessionist. We'll just put it that way.
Mhm.
Right.
And I have always believed in that right until I pulled out West Virginia's Constitution.
Right.
And it starts off, West Virginia is and will always be part of the United States.
Oh, that's what it started off with?
That's what it starts off
Oh,
I'm so
wow.
sorry.
with.
That's interesting, Tom.
Well,
Interesting.
you see, when that was done, the question of secession was very high on everybody's mind. And I guess we probably better not get into that debate tonight, but I've been reading a lot about that lately. But yeah, apparently West Virginia made it illegal to secede from anybody but the state of Virginia.
Well, I dropped something in private chat on why I'm sorry that West Virginia is going to be part of the United States.
Oh, yeah, but that makes sense though. And if you dig into it, the Rockefellers, like West Virginia University, you get into who went there and who ran it and where they are relative to Virginia and some powerful places and people, because DC is right there. I mean, it's just the network is very, very clear. Very clear.
Can you drop some names there? I'd be interested because I'm not aware. I mean,
For example, one that was really interesting is actually, if I might take you somewhere you didn't think, but the Ramseys, John Benet Ramsey, that murder. Patsy Ramsey attended that university and she majored in either communication or debate or something in a liberal arts type of thing.
Really?
And so she was groomed for a long time. And you look at her husband and where he worked. One example is Subic Bay. He was a pilot that worked for a lot of people. And you look at how she got in there. She was put in as a trophy wife as part of this and probably used and destroyed over something that she didn't possibly do. I'm just saying. But that was one I found interesting. But a lot of politicians, and again, the Rockefellers, it's one of their primary and first schools to indoctrinate people out of politics too. Who was it that ran for president or vice president? Was it Norman Rockefeller or help me, John Rockefeller? Yeah, one of them in like the 50s, and they all ran all of those schools.
I didn't know that. When I think about WVU, I automatically think about medicine.
But that's not good because look at their proximity to Dietrich and the type of quote unquote medicine they're doing. There's a lot of research. It wouldn't have been John Rockefeller. I'm going to say Norman, but
Maybe I don't
correct me if they know better. But once you start drawing the roads between there and biological research, medical research, the foundations of our education system now, not all of it comes out of West Virginia University, but some of the main power players put their claws in early in that institution, right next to our other major institutions. Thank you, Chris. It was Nelson. Thank you, Chris.
The way our schools have gone, that's because of the stuff that the Rothschilds have done. where our medicine has all been rewritten to the Rockefellers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They all have institutes, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And if you actually look at it now, it all ties in with either BlackRock or Vanguard Group. Everything that happens in America with money ties into those two companies.
Agreed. Tavistock. Ooh, Chris, that's a good one. Tavistock. Yeah.
Y'all probably have my little brother screaming at his computer.
Well,
Cool.
he should come up and talk.
Come on, Chris.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he probably can't because his wife's probably sleeping. But this is his rabbit hole. Well, one of his many rabbit holes.
Mm-hmm.
Rabbit holes ain't good.
Tavistock. I've never heard that word before. Let me write that down.
The Tavistock Institute. Look into their affiliates, and oh man, that I wouldn't know where to start trying to explain the Tavistock Institute.
No.
I do homework. I don't.
Oh yeah,
but
that's a good one. That's a good one. You can verify they existed. You can verify, a lot of things we learn about are ideas and theories and, well, what if this? But there are some things you can actually see and get to know your enemy. I think that's the idea for me. Like, I'll dabble in the rabbit holes. I'll get in deep for a hop, and depending on what it is, will be the amount of time. But we need to know our enemies. So
Oh yeah.
I
Hello,
hear you,
neighbor
Double Dot.
Moonchild.
Ignore the false flags and rabbit holes. I hear you. But if you don't know what you're fighting for, you have to have some idea of what you're fighting for and against. Sorry, Tom.
Oh no, I was just saying hi to Moonchild. I just noticed her here.
Right. Moonchild.
Yeah, I get into this stuff and then I'm like, I need somebody to talk to about this.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it will hit pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's the honest truth, Devil Dog. How can you fight for something when you don't know what it is?
Yep. I'm going to check my list of different websites to get you the one. It's for Know Your Rights. And that was actually put out by, I think, Nebraska actually wrote this book, the state legislature, and it's really good as far as knowing your rights.
Mm-hmm. Rock on. Moonchild, are we going for a Beastie Boys song? You gotta fight.
I was going to say, Virginia says she doesn't go down the rabbit holes, just kind of looks over them, but she knows every single one and all the
Yeah.
details too.
Well, I will dig in. Some I got deeper than others, but it can kind of mess with your head. Some of the stuff is so dark, you have to pull yourself out and just accept that there's some stuff happening that you wish wasn't. Understand what that is, but don't go looking at the details. Like I won't look at details of certain things, but I'll put together what's going on.
That's a really good point. Some of it is just too disturbing to dwell on too long.
Yeah. You don't want certain images in your mind. If
Yeah.
you can avoid it,
Yeah, like a lot of knowledge that I've grabbed over the last 20 years, I'm just going to keep in my pocket. And all I've been telling people to do for the last 9 months is to get to know your sheriff and help him become a constitutional county. Because that's the only way that we have a chance of surviving through this, because it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Oh yeah.
And
There's no
I
doubt about
believe probably in March, they're going to stop with all the mandates and orders and rules and everything. Otherwise, the Democrats don't have a chance, no matter how bad they cheat for 2022.
Yeah. Well, don't you think that's kind of falling apart anyway from what we've been seeing the last week?
Well, the people that are awake, it fell apart a year ago.
Well, yeah.
Well, I've been seeing even mainstream news stories have been running stories about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Is falling apart. Mandates and I don't know. I'm trying to choose my words.
Mhm.
Right.
But they're saying the new version is so fast that all that stuff's just kind of useless and this and that and the other.
Well, it's just
And
like
I've been seeing
anything.
that on like regular news sources, you know.
Well, it's just like every time that there is one of those V things, and I'm not talking the Jabadoodle, through progression of it, it becomes more contagious and less dangerous.
Right. Right. And eventually kind of kills itself off
Right.
or just becomes a seasonal nuisance.
Yeah, well, I still think it's nothing but the influenza because CDC hasn't done their job.
Right.
Yep, no isolate. Well, I actually had a ticket for not wearing a face diaper, and I ended up fighting it in court. And I told the judge at the arraignment that it's real simple. I just want to subpoena one person, and that's the head of the CDC, to either have a viable test sample for me to give to a virology lab or show me the goddamn patent.
Mhm.
And it got dismissed right there.
Oh, he dismissed it. Awesome.
No,
awesome.
no, bad. I wanted to have
Oh, you wanted to
the
push
son
it.
of a bitch in front of me so he could try to lie. Yeah, I like court. I go and fight in court all the time.
Oh, do you?
Yep, I like it. It's fun. I introduced the judges to law.
How is that taken or accepted?
It starts off pretty poorly. But when you start giving them notices and affidavits of maladministration, malfeasance, or treason, they start to listen.
Mm.
They seriously do.
But they have no choice.
Well, I don't know, man. I see the law being ignored a lot.
That's fine.
Uh,
I don't get ignored.
well, good.
Al, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't mind standing up in court and telling the judge to shut up. You have to listen.
Wow,
And
you actually get away with that.
Well, why wouldn't I? Because it's just an administrative hearing and the judge is nothing but a magistrate. He can't make no damn decisions.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right. Semantics.
Believe it or not, every single one of these fake laws that they've put us under, we can use real law and or even their own documents to fight them. So it's just funny.
Their own words against them is the most powerful tool. Maybe this is how the pen is mightier than the sword.
Oh yeah. I'm looking for. Oh, there. Is it this book? Yeah.
I'd really like to learn more about that.
Okay, I'm going to give you one thing that makes this whole runny nose thing go away. And it's 16 a.m. jurisprudence second, section 6 or 98. No emergency has just cause to suppress the Constitution.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is their stuff. So they're violating their own rules. And whenever you bring a case up and you have it switched into common law or constitutional law, which would be a court of record, you have 16 AM jurisprudence second, section 97, and whenever they are interpreting the Constitution, it's to be interpreted in the favor of the citizen.
Yes, I've heard that too.
The big thing is to get it out of the civil court arena. Otherwise, you got all that case and code crap to deal with.
Thank you, Stuart. I haven't been very good about giving people wrenches tonight. I hadn't really thought about it. I haven't seen any of the bots on tonight, though.
Right? Thank goodness.
Yeah.
On Ken Carson's, we had like 4 of them go through, and when I was on Liberty, he had 2 go through.
Tonight.
Yeah, it's funny. Like a month ago, they started as female names. Like it seemed like women's names, like Melissa Smith or whatever.
Right.
And then it started to be the Russian-looking names that just
I
popped
noticed
in.
that. Funny fonts and all that.
Exactly. The fonts where it's hard to like look them up and reply or block them if you're on the channel side, you know.
Yeah.
Someone was saying that if you're a mod on a channel, you can click on an icon and it takes you to the channel. But I know you used to be able to, but they were saying they brought it back, but it hasn't worked for me.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, if you're a mod, if you all the way to the right where the 3 dots are, and if you click on that, you know, where you can block them or whatever, it gives you a chance to go to their site.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I have
See,
still not been able to see that. I've heard people say like hover over the name, or I don't see it.
Okay, see, Indy says it doesn't work for her either, but I don't know that I ever tried the 3 dots. Whoever told me said you just click on their icon or
That's the way it
their
used to
avatar.
work.
Or whatever.
3 dots does nothing except the same. Right, Stuart?
How about clicking on the actual picture over there? Does that
Nope.
do anything? No, that doesn't do anything either.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, that must be some. I guess
I thought maybe it was phone versus computer thing, but I tried it on both now, and neither one did it work for me.
Yeah, somebody was discussing that on a chat I was watching earlier, but I'm not a moderator there, so I couldn't make anything happen.
I'll be
I
right
think
back
it
in a
used
couple
to be
minutes.
anyone could do it.
Really? Well,
And they changed it.
Stalking people.
I think they changed it because people were doing the sub for sub thing, where someone sub your channel, you sub theirs, and it made it too easy to do.
Oh. Yeah, that's what that discussion was all about earlier, that you could click on the picture and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
So it's 2022 across the whole country now. A lot of people going to wake up with a headache tomorrow.
Right.
Not me.
No, me either, unless it's just from sleeping too deep. It's funny. Sometimes I think I really enjoy a drink, and then I keep it far enough away that by the time I get up to go out and get it, it's like, nah, it's not worth the trip.
You're right. Benefit risk assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I once in a while, but not very often. I don't drink too much.
Right, Stuart? Yeah. I never could click on it, anyone.
Oh, that's awesome, Chris. I know you guys really need some snow down there.
Right?
Nah,
Nate?
they do. It's super dry down there.
Oh, like they do? Do?
Yeah, like you guys probably seen the fires that went through
Mm-hmm.
down there.
Okay.
A lot
All
of it's
right.
just because
So
it's
in
so
his
dry.
area, it's like a drier. All right. Gotcha.
Horrible fire.
Well, he's quite a ways from where the fires happen, but yeah, they haven't had no snow down there.
Oh, wow. By this time of year, how much is usually there?
It's usually snowed quite a few times by now.
Right?
Usually starts in like October, maybe. Definitely by November it's snowing.
Right. Hey, Monty.
Happy New Year, Monty. Good to see you. Yeah, we would usually have snow here too, and it's dry here. I'm not hoping for snow, but it's definitely dry. We need something. And I guess really we need some weather to, put the earth to sleep for a while. I've got a cousin down South Carolina, and he's already getting concerned about peach trees because he says they need a certain number of what they call cold hours,
Mm-hmm.
or else
Yeah.
they won't produce peaches. And it's starting to become a concern down there. Monty, you rest well, man. I know you got to be tired because you've done
Good
a lot.
night, Monty.
And I appreciate you dropping by, really. So I didn't even pin this to Facebook tonight because I usually do, but I didn't know what was going to happen, and I just figured
Mm-hmm.
Facebook don't matter.
Yeah, I've never had one. I mean, I technically have one, but if you go to it, I've never posted on it.
Really?
Yeah, someone from my past tried to find me, so and this was in like 2006. So I got this email, hey, someone is trying to find you through Facebook. And I was like, oh, okay. So I clicked on it, but I had to sign up to get the message. And so that's the reason it exists. But it's empty otherwise, absolutely nothing. But no, I hear you on the freezing, like the same thing with tulips or other bulbs. They have to freeze in order to grow.
Yeah.
Even
Apple
poppies.
trees.
Yeah, apple, a lot of them have to go through that process. So it makes sense.
My Facebook's the same way. I've never posted anything on it. I was using it to kind of watch my daughter on Facebook, and then I realized that she only let me see what she wanted me to see, so it didn't even work. She knew more about it than I did.
Right.
It's a waste of time, and I'm addicted to it. I waste too much time on that. There's a lot of positive. I mean, it is good to keep in touch with old friends and family. I was able to reconnect with a guy that I knew back in the early 70s, and I hadn't seen this dude for 25 years. And I'll give Facebook credit for finding him. You're back, Devil Dog.
Yes, sir. I had to send a file from a computer back over to this one. Yeah, those two links that I put into a private chat will help anyone out a lot if they have to go in front of a judge.
I'd gladly send you some coal, Stuart. So it's negative 16 now.
All right, Devil Dog. Go ahead, Best Life.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, I'm just asking Devil Dog to maybe try to educate me here a little bit. How can I save these links?
The easiest way is just to open them and then put them in your favorites.
All right. Can I do that without losing this? I guess I'll make my way back to it. All right.
If you right click,
I've got it. I'm still here, right?
yes, you're here.
Bookmark that.
Oh, someone's cuckoo.
This is easy.
Thanks, Stuart. I'll be waiting for it.
Thanks, man. I'll read that tomorrow. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but the one I'm actually looking for, I can't find. And the title of the document is actually Know Your Rights.
Tom, do you want me to put those in the chat for other people to look up?
If you want to, yeah. If anybody's interested, they should be interested. But
Okay, let me.
I tell you, I'm gonna put my email in the private chat, Devil Dog. If you've got a list and don't mind adding
Yep.
me.
That's one of the books that is coming to you, and this
I
is
saw
the
that
other one.
Oh yeah, I saw both of that.
But this is the one I'm looking for. This one is super powerful.
Yeah, man. If you could find that, I'd appreciate it. I'd love to go through that. Now, was that put out by your state?
Nope.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
in Michigan.
All right.
Yep, the home of that wonderful governor, Gretchen Hitler.
Uh-huh. When is she coming up for being put out? 24?
You talking the election or when she's gonna have to deal with my affidavits going to notice?
You've got that in the works?
Yeah, I'll be dropping the a full claim against her in March or April.
And that is set up so that she must respond or she agrees with everything you say, right?
Well, the claim goes to a court of record, and then the court of record drags her ass into court to face me.
Oh, they really will make
Yeah.
her go right on.
Well, a court of record is actually the superior court, and the superior court has more power and authority than the Supreme Court,
Really?
because everything you've ever been taught about politics is wrong, and it's all backwards.
Hmm. Pretty much everything. If we're going to say that about politics, that includes religion, that includes education, everything taught there, our history. I mean,
Well, the Department of Education is actually illegal. And if you don't believe me, U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 8.
Well, I don't doubt you, but I got to look that up since it's handy.
yeah.
Because that breaks down all that the legislature can do. And they're the only ones that can make laws and stuff like that. And Department of Education is under the executive branch. And they act like they have more power than the president. And the power of the president is actually nothing having to do with inside our borders.
Well, education should be left to the states anyway,
Or the community.
the community.
Yeah, my first thought is the parents and I don't know. Back in the day, homeschool was the only school. It's only about 150 years ago that started putting up houses, and all the grades were in one room, and it was just concentrated learning. A lot of the kids got so much more attention. I think that's a big thing now. You have one teacher trying to corral and guide and lead and essentially indoctrinate 30 kids of varying personalities coming from all kinds of different homes and lifestyles. And we need to have, unfortunately, it's not so easy in structured schooling, but we need to have more attention to each kid, to each special way that they think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's totally gone. There's
The
no
first
focus
public-
on education.
The first public school in America was in 1664.
Uh-huh.
And
And-
it was ran by the churches.
I was going to say it was probably run by a church. Yeah.
And the very first head person of that said that if we ever move the Bible from the front of the classroom to the back, we failed our children.
Right.
I agree with that completely. Yeah.
I think that the schoolhouse changed around the Industrial Revolution when more people were working, both male and female, going to war, doing all kinds of different tasks that you didn't see before in order to keep up with the times. That's when we saw children and family structures start to disintegrate.
Can't find that other document. But the demise of the schools actually started in 1848.
Uh-huh.
And the document that'll prove it to you is actually the Communist Manifesto.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Marx and that other idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And that was printed in 1848. And if you actually read through, I think there's 55 different points. They're almost done with all of them.
Yeah, they are. Twisted Tats, what's up, dude?
Happy New Year, Twisted.
You're right. Purple crayon. That
Purple crayon.
they started eating purple crayons about then. But no, you're right. It goes deep. You can go into a lot of facets of it. There was
Right.
still with less population, when towns were smaller and people were making their way, schools were much different. I agree, though, as far as the underlying indoctrination. Shit, that goes back. We could go back time immemorial as far as underlying indoctrination, but I think that the breakdown of parents having power and how their kids, or parents having control, or however you want to put it, of what their kids are taught. I'm not sure we've ever seen anything like that, what we have right now.
Well, probably before, Anglo-Saxon, probably between 1014, which is the, Ethelred Unready's agreement with the Saxon people, which gives the basic outline for what our government's supposed to do. And the Battle of Hastings in 1088, and then the treaty in 1089, and then the was it the Charter of Liberty, 1100
Was
Charter of
Hastings
Liberty?
1066, or was that just the invasion? Wasn't, am I tripping? Because you're talking about William the Conqueror, right?
Right. Well, he's like 1066, but the Battle of Hastings.
Hastings was 1088.
Right, because the people
Okay.
were done playing their game.
Gotcha. Yep.
Now, is that how the Magna Carta came about? Because you guys are going back to.
Yeah, that was in 1215.
Okay.
And every single time that we had an important document signed, before like the 1600, the king had a knife to his throat and had to sign it.
Yeah, you betcha.
He could either sign it or lose his head. And that's how they had a new ruler, is they just go and behead him. The people would be done.
Well,
playing.
regarding those kings, though, they were under the Pope. They had the Pope's knee on their necks, kneeling, choking them down for every move.
You see, I can't in my head see how that could happen just because of the distance. The time it took to even get a message from one point to another. I just don't understand how that happened. How was it really enforced?
Money.
Well, everything was enforced by the sheriff, because the sheriff started in, I think, 780, and his job was to collect taxes, and he was the strong arm of the king, and he also could invent laws at will.
Mm-hmm.
And then because of the Magna Carta in 1215, the sheriff's role changed to being the buffer between the people and the government. And that would be clause 61, the second half of that will actually lay that out pretty good. But the sheriff's duties in the Magna Carta is laid out in 9 different spots. And every other document of freedom, which is, let's see, our Federalist Paper 35 will tell you what our liberty documents are, and there's 5 of them. And every time that there's another liberty document, which says what the people's rights are, there's more duties for the sheriff.
Right, Stuart?
Sometimes a good ass whooping's the most effective
an
thing,
ass whooping.
Stuart.
Yeah.
Worked for me when I was a kid.
Yeah, well, my dad told me the proper way to rear a child is from here.
Yeah, Twisted, I agree. My thought, though, is we can name a lot of families. We can name the 13, and we can narrow it down to 9, 6, and 3. But I think that there's an ultimate puppeteer and I can only narrow it down to the devil himself somehow or another. The power funnels in. I think that probably whoever has the most money is going to pull the most strings. But influence and power and money and all of that, at some point it kind of starts to swashbuckle itself. So I don't know, but there's a funnel here that we don't know the very, very base of it. We can name the obvious names,
Right.
and the places that we can research, and the Vanguards and the Black Rocks, but there's a funnel down to, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 5. It's right, independent Satan.
Yeah. That's very true. That's very true.
Tats, I don't think Elon Musk is any more powerful than any of the rest of them. I don't even think Gil Bates is. He didn't really do anything. Fraud. She didn't really do anything. They are spokesmodels. So
Puppets.
Puppets.
yeah. So who's the director? Chris Clevercraft. That's the obvious answer and thought and choice. But if you keep digging with the silver spoon, so to speak, it's not. It's not.
Well, I firmly believe that, you know, these folks have sold their souls to the devil, and you can make fun of that if you want to, but I think it's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And wealth in this world is not worth. They're not going to be in control where they're headed. They're not.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, if you look into that institute that you wrote down, you'll find music is a huge one. They're responsible for birthing the Beatles and some other things. Now they're even more nefarious in some of the things they're looking into as far as how to program populace. It's pretty disturbing, and they're experts at it. It's been a hard day's night. I've been working like a dog. You know, they've been doing that for decades.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Carl.
Oh, I hate to think anything bad about the Beatles, though. My goodness.
Yeah, well, if that would break your heart, don't dig too deep.
Were you in that session the other night when Ghetto gave me that rap song to listen to react to?
I don't think so. I've been there when he recommends several. I'm not sure if I was there when you actually heard one.
Well, no, I didn't hear it in front of him.
Okay, yes. So then, yes, I was.
Yeah, because I had been talking about that guy out in Los Angeles, and I didn't video my reaction to the tune, but I wanted to tell him the music itself was actually very good.
Mm-hmm.
What song was it? I was in there, but I don't remember what song. There was a lot of them brought up.
I think it was Ice Cube, and it had something to do with it.
Oh, today was a good day.
Today was a good day. And the one line that stood out to me was, today was a good day. I didn't need my AK. The words were so dark.
Yep.
That it made the song hard to listen to, but the music itself was really, I thought, good.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's the other way around. You didn't get into because I thought with certain songs, if you just read the lyrics, it's like, oh, this is a poem. but you might not like the sound, but you liked the sound. That's cool.
I did very much. The guitar work, I was impressed because I don't listen to this, and the song wasn't something I'm going to be. I won't tune a radio station to that kind of music, but it was an interesting experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I got into this was because of that Beatles documentary, and it was just so absolutely fascinating to me to watch those guys start with just an idea and turn it into a tune that I've loved for 40 years.
Right.
So that was cool.
That's awesome.
And I am open to doing things like that. You got to get out of your comfortable little cocoon sometimes and experience things.
That's something I appreciate about you, Tom, is that you're very open-minded. You'll take some leads and some suggestions and some ideas and run with it and dabble for a second and see what you think, but you don't prejudge necessarily. You'll get in and actually make an assessment, and that's a high mark of intelligence, is the curiosity and the willingness to open up to things that you're not familiar with or assume you might hate or whatever, or not hate's a strong word, but assume that you might not grab onto in some way. But as time goes on, I'd be curious. I'm sure he has some interesting songs and lyrics that for some, I think reading it, sometimes it's hard to understand what lyricists are saying, whether it's rap, rock, even country, anything. It's sometimes you don't know unless you sit and read it and you
Right.
can see, oh, okay, this is a story here I didn't quite put together. So I love it, Tom.
I try. I don't always succeed, but there are some things I am not going to get involved in.
Yeah. So your disco is out, is what you're saying.
I told you about my job at the bank, and I was running a drive-in window, and like 20 steps away from that drive-in window was this disco bar. And I used to stop off over there. That's a Baltimore term, stop off. After work and usually drink too much beer. But some disco is okay.
You were bobbing your head, shaking your shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Indy, you are so right as far as modern music. I am hard pressed to name music that's come out in the last at least decade that I have a CD for or an album for, What's the newest record that you bought, Tom, as far as new music, never released, not a greatest hits or whatever?
I have not bought music, my goodness. I can't tell you the last time.
Right.
I don't think I have heard what you would consider a new piece of music in the last 20 years.
Right.
Because my tastes go back to 70s and 80s. The radio stations I listen to are that kind of music. And I was joking with somebody, I've got this Sirius radio in my truck now, and it never comes off the Beatles channel. So I can't tell you that I've heard anything new unless it was a commercial on TV.
What do you say, Devil Dog? What's the newest band or song or music that you're like, all right, this is good?
Okay, I don't know. I haven't listened to the radio in almost 2 years.
Yeah, I hear that.
And I don't watch TV either.
Yep. Me neither. If I have the radio on, it's a talk radio or news radio when I'm driving.
Indy's got a good one down there. Coulter Wall.
Cool.
You like country?
Whoever that is.
Yeah,
I've never
me
heard
too.
of that in my life.
He's yeah, that dude. He's pretty good. He's got a very interesting voice.
All right, Best Life. What's the newest, most recent song music? You're like, all right, word.
Mine would be a dude named Cody Jenks.
I've not heard of that.
Oh,
either.
I like Camo Carls too. I like Hank 3. He's pretty
Okay.
good. He's not that new anymore though. He's been
Right.
around for quite a while. Hank Jr.'s son. He goes by Hank 3 or Hank 3rd. If that's the one he's talking about, I think he's got a couple sons actually.
Right.
Independent, is there anything in particular on that album that you would like me to listen to, or modern Johnny Cash? I can handle that.
Right.
You know, thinking I would bet the most true answer to your question, the newest music I've heard was stuff my son was listening to when he was a teenager.
Right.
And hell, he's 47 years old now, so.
So he's about my age. What was his style? What was his favorite band in your idea?
His favorite band, there was, and you know, I kind of learned to like that music too. There was a band called Third Eye Blind,
Okay.
and then there was another band with the word 3 in the name that I can't.
311.
No.
What, 3 Doors Down or something?
3 Doors
like that?
Down. That
Three
was
Doors
it.
Down.
That was
Okay.
it. Yeah, and that, you know, now that it's golden oldies, that wasn't bad music, but I hated it while he was listening to it.
Right.
And we will never confess this to him.
Okay, I just dropped a link for you, Tom. It's an hour and 20-minute video. I recommend everyone watches it.
All right. I'll put it in the main chat.
Yep, it's Chris Ann Hall.
Educational purposes. I am putting in this video for everyone in chat.
Yeah, just give everyone a hint what it's about. It's called The Non-Compliant Movie.
All right, I got that. Thank you. Did you get my email address out of there, Devil Dog?
Yep.
Okay. And like I said, if you have a list, please put me on
Careful now.
it. Not your shit list, but you know.
Well, I never elected you for nothing, Tom, so you're safe.
Thank you. Hey, even I wouldn't vote for me, man.
Yeah, a lot of people in my community want me to run for this and that and the other. I go, why? I don't want to give up my power and authority.
You know what? I know you ain't kidding. Where was I reading or listening? These new congressmen and senators will get in, and they're good people, and they've got the best of intentions, and they have this little thing called orientation that all the freshmen go to. And that is where they learn, no, you can't buck us. And here's what will happen to you if you try.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I am so into voter imposed term limits. You can't give these guys a chance to get dirty. They go in and do a couple of terms and then they go home. And we have to force that. And we can if we just put our minds to it and make it our mission to do.
How do you think we lay the foundations for change? You know, I look at the coming generations, my kids, their kids, and probably more than myself. In fact, definitely more than myself. So, how do you think we lay the foundations for that?
First of all, if it's a millennial, you might as well just figure out a way to make them happy and comfortable because they ain't gonna do shit.
I don't have room for cry corners. I'm at, you know.
Well, it's real easy. You know why they call them millennials? It's because it takes 1,000 years to get them to move out of your damn house.
Right?
But
Shit.
I'll tell you what, that Generation Z, they're all over learning everything I can teach them.
Mm.
Now, what age group do you consider Generation Z?
Probably early teens to about 22, 25.
All right. All right.
My oldest boys are 20. They're twins, born in 2001. Both of them have moved out, work full-time jobs, pay their rent, taxes, etc., and have pretty good heads on their shoulders. So I think a lot of it starts at home. I mean, we've got a responsibility to lead by example, communicate, foster curiosity, you know, all of these things with our children so that they don't get lost in the tunnel.
Well, I may end up doing a short little, like 1 hour class on how to file your taxes. It'll probably be on Ken Carson's stream.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll teach you how to take your W-2, W-4, 1099, and apply it to a 807 form, 708 form, which means that you can make up to $5 million on the 708 form before you have to pay any taxes.
Okay.
Okay, because it's not income that you are showing, you know, for federal when it comes to a 1099, a W-2, or a W-4.
Mm-hmm.
A W-3 is for income.
All right. Very interesting. I'm working with 1099s and floating income in many ways. I would love to see something like that.
Well, what does it say right there?
Non-employee compensation.
That's
for-
not income. That's compensation. That's like a gift.
All right, but if you receive a 1099 MISC, how do you convert it to that?
That's what this is.
Well, I'm
Get the number?
subscribed to your channel, so I'll know when you do that seminar, right?
1099 NEC.
Yeah, but an MISC is different.
Well, it doesn't matter. 1099 falls under a category 5. You know, because there's 7 different levels on your tax forms. If it's a level 1 or 2, then it goes in income. If it's, you know, 5 or 6, then it goes as a gift, compensation, and there's another term for it. And that's what covers those other 3 forms. And I'll guarantee that if you put it, even if you take your 1099, put it into income, and you're off on your deductions, they're going to raise holy hell on you. And if you use the other form, you don't need any deductions if you make less than $5 million a year.
All right. Well, usually I'm rocking a 1099 miss with the standard deduction because it comes out better no matter how much I split hairs. I can't make it happen any different. So,
right. And then you have your state tax, which is totally different.
my state has no state tax.
Well, lucky you.
Yeah,
Right.
really.
I get
Mine eats
cornholed
me
real good
alive.
in Michigan.
All right. Well, awesome. Like, if you do that, please follow up and let us know. I'd be very curious. I research every year. I go through as the publications, the updates, the forums, everything, and the new um, allowances for certain things are there. Also, a lot of people don't know about. For example, last year I was able to put on for if you had to quarantine for missing work, you get a sort of like a per diem that goes in as a tax credit. You can claim a certain number of days. It was $100 a day, I believe. Something right about there. And so if you had to go somewhere to work, if you had to travel, and that place required 10 days of isolation, you could put in for 10 days of lost work. And they had a formulation for that. I'm sorry, it was a year ago that I did it, so I don't remember the form and the thing. It was the first time it was ever there. But look at those little things if anyone did have to do that.
Let me ask you this, since you've studied that. Excuse me. I saw this the other day, and I had to laugh. I think it's BS, but knowing them, it could be true. But have you seen anything about the IRS requiring that you report stolen goods as income?
Yes.
That's true?
Yes.
Crazy.
You report it. You report the value as income.
Unless, of course, you return it to the rightful owner before
Right.
the end of the
Right.
year. That's the damnedest thing I've ever heard.
Yep.
Well, that right there will put you in prison.
Yeah, that's what I said. I thought to myself, you go report that. All they're doing is it's entrapment in a way. You know?
Yeah, in California, it's fine if you steal less than $1,000.
Yes.
If you don't put it in your taxes as income, then you're going to be going on a tax fraud.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Just wait until next year. You're going to see that shit everywhere.
Yep. I said the same thing when I read it like this.
I had to wonder.
There's some benefit to that, though. You know, when, let's say you have a dependent, you make zero verifiable income. Well, if that counts as some kind of earned income, you possibly get other credits and deductions, and ironically get a refund based on earning that commodity.
Well, that's the thing with the undocumented folks. They can file. They've had no income, but they get credits.
Yep, you get credits. That's what.
So,
that's what gets you a check.
That shit's got to change, folks.
Mm-hmm. There's something also. I have a 4-year-old child, and you get every year something called the child tax credit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in your shit, child tax credit, right? Well, the potato started sending $200 a month to people who were eligible for the child tax credit the previous year, and as a future payment for the child tax credit coming up. Did that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So and I don't want it. I got a letter saying, hey, we're going to send you this in advance. Well, all that's going to do is increase my tax liability in
March. Yeah.
In March. But also, I didn't ask for it. They are conditioning people with dependents toward the UBI idea, you know.
Uh-huh.
Just the government sends you money every now and there. That is not a good thing. and most of us didn't ask for it and have no idea why it's coming in. And we don't know yet how it's going to affect the next year and what kind of forms that's going to have.
Right. And it's wrong for the taxpayers, period.
Yep.
Completely wrong.
There's no justification for where the dollars go.
Well,
It's taxation without representation.
well, and it goes back into their pockets anyway. It's a damn mafia scheme, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree. Totally.
Foreign aid and wars puts more money in these politicians' pockets than anything else.
Night, Chris.
And my attitude is if we have money, or if this government has money to send to other governments, we're paying too damn much tax.
Mm-hmm. Arkansas Living did a hilarious video showing a breakdown of a couple of pages of the bill, that's trillion, I don't know what the fuck it is, a couple billion, 70 billion, 1 trillion, I don't know. It's all melting together, but it's insane. Insane. There was like $450,000 put toward studying the gambling habits of pigeons.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, when you really read it line by line, it's like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Every $200,000 I see scroll by, I see a home and homestead that could go to an American family. So that $500,000 going to pigeons, gambling habits, is 3 families in this country. That, you know what I mean? I just,
that could be helped take care of themselves.
They're throwing money in the pyre like it's, well, I guess it is just paper.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all graft. I mean, it goes into some puke's pocket. And I don't have any respect for any of these people. College administrators, they're involved in it too. I don't know. I work for that college. I told you that.
Yep.
And my boss would come to me. I actually got in trouble. I didn't get in bad trouble, but I got reprimanded verbally. We had a big fat guy that worked in our office, and he, instead of getting out and going on patrol, he sat in the office, and he managed to break a chair. Well, now, all right, I come from the country. We had a maintenance shop in the next building, and they had a welder down there, and I took the chair over there, and I said, buddy, that was the guy's name, Buddy Gladhill. I said, weld this chair back together for us. And he did. Well, my supervisor found out I had done that and said, you can't do that. And I said, why? Didn't cost us anything. You were supposed to buy another chair.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't spend that money, we're not going to get it next year.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And every, I don't know, April or May, end of the fiscal year is coming up. Tom, you got to put together a shopping list. Well, don't really need anything. Make something up. We've got to spend money out of your department.
Yep.
So I spent $35,000 on surveillance equipment, cameras, nice, state-of-the-art surveillance equipment 35 years ago. And that stuff sat in a closet until I left. Never got installed because the provost of the campus didn't want that image of cameras watching people. Well, the bookstore was losing thousands of dollars a year because of theft, vandalism, you know, the money that equipment could have saved. And I guess it got sold at an auction. They had a surplus auction every so often. And I bet you the stuff never got taken out of boxes. It was probably obsolete by the time they got rid of it and never taken out of the box. And I just think stuff like that's sinful. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Hey, Indy, did you grab the URL for this? Because I think I've dropped it on a couple of streams you've been on. If you have it, can you post it up here for us? I'd appreciate it a lot. I can't find the link.
Nikki,
Good morning, Nikki.
girl,
Thanks for coming.
come say hello, Happy New Year if you can. You know, I get it. She is so sweet, you guys. Nikki is a solid, solid woman.
Yep, and independent is a boss.
Oh, yeah. Independent's great.
Yep, she rocks.
Be right back.
I'm back. I had to clean that wood stove out. I couldn't fit any more wood in it.
You had to let it go out and cool off?
No. I just went out and got the can and shoveled coals out into the can.
All right.
Coals are like 10 inches deep. There's only 4 inches of room to put wood in it, and the
Jeez.
coals just aren't putting out enough heat to keep the
No.
house warm.
No, temps like that, you need that stove itself glowing probably.
Just about. It's raging now. We're down to 17 below now. That should be about as cold as it's supposed to get.
We had temps not quite that bad here. Oh, it might have been 10 years ago now. But learned this little trick about putting a pan of water on the stove and getting it boiling real good and then take it outside and throw it in the air. Really neat effect.
Yeah, I've seen people do that. I don't want to go outside.
When you're living like that, it's nothing to play with, right?
Right. I mean, I had to right now. I had to go get the can and shovel all the stuff out and then run the can back out there. But yeah, it's cold out there.
You got snow on the ground out there?
Yep. Not a whole lot of snow. Like there's maybe 6 inches in most places, a little more in some of the shady areas. It's been just kind of accumulating over the last week or two.
Right.
But the cold, the snow don't bother me. The cold is what's getting me.
No doubt. Yeah, it just wears you out. Hoot Owl, if I didn't say hello to you, thanks for coming.
Yeah, Twisted Tats. A lot of people have been saying that it's warmer than normal.
Yeah, Wayne, what is it? It's still 55 degrees here.
Yeah, it's 36 here, and it should be a lot colder than that.
What part of the country are you in?
The CCP of Michigan.
Michigan, you said that already. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm still crying.
Yeah, Nikki, it's downright balmy here. And the selfish side of me loves it. The practical side says this ain't right.
I haven't lived here long enough.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I haven't lived here long enough to know if this is normal. I know it gets this cold here, but I think it's usually more like February.
you'll have to see what happens. January is usually our worst month. And in February, you can have several nice days in February. March, that's only 90 days long, so we'll get through that. That's crazy twisted. And you're out in Ohio?
Nikki says it's been hot there too.
It gets to the point where, you wonder if these mosquitoes aren't getting frozen out or anything like that. All kinds of weirdness can happen.
Right.
But you know what? None of us is going to change this. We're going to have to learn to adapt to it.
Right.
You guys want to meet my husky? All right,
Sure.
crap. Hold on. I'm going to have to move the laptop.
We've met, but I love dogs, so yes.
All right.
My very first dog was a husky.
Okay. Jack.
Oh,
Jack.
hello, baby.
Hey, Jack.
Oh, he's pretty. My goodness.
Hey, Papa.
Who's a good boy?
Hey, Jack.
With the
Get
blue
the squirrel.
eyes.
Get the squirrel. Get the squirrel. Get the squirrel.
You want to go outside?
Oh, he does,
that
for
was
sure.
dirty.
For sure. He loves it.
I gotta
It's
watch
all
what I say. I'm surprised my dog
cold.
didn't jump up when I said that.
Want to go bye-bye? Want to go bye-bye?
Nah, I'm tired, man. What a pretty
He's
guy.
like, no, I'm going to lean on you. That's okay. It's freezing. Whew. It is cold. Crap. Okay, Jack, come on.
Yeah, my dog is loving the weather. I hate it. She wants to go for like an hour-long walk. I feel like my nose is about to fall off.
Yeah. I had a long-haired German Shepherd, and she would drive my wife up the wall because this dog flat out did not want to come in when it was cold. She would lay there and let it snow. It would snow a half an inch on that dog. I mean, completely cover the dog. And she'd stand up and shake off, and here's this bare spot underneath her words. It was funny with that dog.
My dog would do that if I'd let her, but
Yeah.
she can't. She can't be outside alone. She'll be over at the neighbors chasing chickens and horses.
Oh, don't want that.
Yeah. So it don't matter what the weather is. I go for 4 walks a day at least.
Well, I always have things to do outside. So especially the last 3 or 4 dogs that I had, I mean, they were always out with me. So there was never a formal walk. I mean, my whole place was fenced. So after they got older and knew what, they were supposed to be doing, you could just open the door and let them out. They'd go do their thing, come back, scratch on the door. Plus I had
Right.
security cameras. I can watch them. Hey, Nikki or anybody else, y'all want to come up and express an opinion? We're wide open.
Wide open space.
Wide open.
Jack is half husky, half border collie. So
Okay, that explains the color.
yeah, and the tail, and his nose his snout is a little bit longer. But he is very intelligent, and he is trying to work and run and do. It's interesting. He communicates by tapping my hand with the side of his nose. And when I was thinking about it, I picture huskies when they're running, they're touching each other on their shoulders, and you know what I'm saying? They don't have time to bark. They're doing it with feel. And
Uh-huh.
so he'll come up and with his shoulder or his nose or something like that. But trust me, he talks his ass off. He will not
Oh,
shut
yeah.
the fuck up.
They're very vocal. Yeah.
He talks. Oh my God. Very precocious, but an awesome dog.
How old is he?
I'm not exactly sure. Going to say 3.5 to 4.5.
How long you had him?
I've had him right at 2 years. He walked into my garage one day and sat down and just looked at me. And I was like, "Hey, how are you?" He's super nice. And I was looking at his collar, found that he lived 2 streets away, contacted the owner, took him home the next day, and texted the owner, if you need to rehome him, let me know, because we loved him for the 24 hours we had him. My son was enthralled with this dog. And so she texted back within a minute, that would be great.
Really?
I said, okay, I'll come pick him up. So, I mean, I went and got him, and he's been here ever since. She gave me some papers, and like I said, I would say January of 17 was his birthday. January of 17 or 18 on the papers. I haven't looked at him for a minute,
Okay.
but yeah. And we transferred the tags, everything. And so I believe the dog chose me. He came
No
out
doubt.
where, sat down, and we communicate with our eyes. He does certain things when he looks at me that we're talking. He's very, very good. Very good dog.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Excuse me just a minute. I'll be right back.
Word.
My
I used to
brother
say
got a
it all
dog
the
like
time
that.
just to upset my kids.
So Chris had a
brother-
doggy walk into his life and never leave.
Yeah, he had a dog jump his fence into the yard, and was like, "Hey, I guess I live here now." They couldn't find the owner. They tried. They posted on Facebook and Craigslist and wherever else, and took it around the whole town. His town's tiny, but so yeah, that's how he got a dog.
Right.
Jumped into the yard.
I'd love
Guess
to-
what I found?
What did you find?
The document I was looking for.
All right, let's see. So I will pop this in 1 second. Twisted Tats, I hear you on that. I totally hear you on that. Service animals find a owner. My son is autistic, and he does some crazy behavior sometimes, and he struggles with communication. Like he doesn't talk, he screams and points. And that dog is so fucking patient, dude. He has never, ever harmed my child or done anything aggressive, or he'll walk away or bark and I'll get him away if there's a situation. But I agree, there was something about that energy, because at that time my child would have been 2, and there was something about that I noticed right away was a huge benefit to my kid.
Yeah, Tom, I dropped the link for that book I was looking for.
Yes, sir. I'm saving it right now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sir, that was my dad's name.
Sir was my dog's name, the last dog I had.
My first dog's name was Rex.
Rex.
Yep. It was a Beagle sheepdog mix.
Beagle sheepdog. Wow.
That's interesting.
So what was the primary feature? The ears, the hair?
Well, I left his tail on. He looked cool as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Was his tail bushy?
Yep.
Was it?
Yep. And then the last dog I had was a little itty bitty thing, Bouvier Shepherd mix.
Bouvier. I'm not familiar. Hey, Silver Girl.
Hey, Silver.
135-pound dog.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Dang.
And he's the best dog I ever had. He'd be sitting in front of the door at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to breakfast with me when I was doing construction. I'd open the door and he'd run right through me to get out of the house. He'd jump his own ass into the back of the truck. We'd go to breakfast, and all my buddies would take him a slice of toast or some egg or some meat or something and just feed it to him. But they learned real quick you don't reach over the edge of the bed.
Uh-huh.
Right to the spot. And when we got to the job site, he'd jump out with his water dish and he'd lay it down, and then he'd lay under the truck somewhere, and I'd pour some water in there. I'd go work, and he'd just lay there and watch. And then whenever we got our day done and we started rolling up our tools, he started running around and playing with the guys and tug of war with extension cords and shit like that. Good dog. Good dog.
What memories?
Yep, and if it was important enough for the wife to take the $50 I gave her to take him to the vet to make sure he didn't have heartworms to get his medicine, yep, instead of, telling me she did it and then go to the bar and drink it, yep, that was good. Yeah, it cost me a good dog, and I ended up with a different dog. Her name was Debbie.
The
W?
dog or the wife?
Well, after she basically killed my dog, she was nothing but the bitch after that.
Damn.
So the other dog was Debbie the bitch.
Yeah. That
Because life is a poker game, because you heart your dog and you club your wife.
yeah.
That's funny. Was she the queen of diamonds?
No, she was a joker.
Word. Wild card. Hey, Moonchild.
Welcome back, Moonchild. I am convinced that husky that I had, then I got married, and she hated that dog. And to this day, I am convinced. She said the dog ran away, but I'm still convinced after 50 years that that woman took that dog out in the woods and turned him loose.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, because huskies don't get lost.
Right.
Dude, my husky does run, though. Probably
Oh, yeah, they
at
love to
least
run.
once a month, he will find a way and just start hauling ass down the street. And what's really funny is he always heads towards his other home where he came from.
Really?
Yeah. Even though I've had him longer than they did. And he's not running away, but that's just the direction he goes. He goes, and he has a brother there. Well, his brother is in that home, and the owner, excuse me, told me that they were really close. And I think he's running toward his brother, who's shit.
Why do you think they were so willing to let you have that dog?
Well, I know why. When I returned him to the home, though it was a lady who was going through a divorce, and she had about 4 birds, 3 or 4 dogs, a couple of cats, and 5 kids. And she worked a night shift bartending. And to be perfectly honest, she had too much on her plate. I
Yeah,
mean,
sounds
it was just, and all the kids were I don't know, young teen and under. And in fact, the person she was divorcing was actually really close with Jack, and he came over to say goodbye to him. He was one of the primary people that would take care of Jack. He would baby him, and that was his boy. Well, when the divorce started to happen, he couldn't take him because of where he moved didn't allow pets, and she had a whole lot going on. So it helped her, and it honestly it helped Jack too. There was no chance he would get I don't know, just some attention or care. I mean,
not what he deserved.
right, not what he deserved. There were just too many beings that needed taken care of, and she had only so much she could do. So
Right.
pygmies.
Yeah.
That's from a movie, ain't it? I think that's a line from a movie, but I can't remember which movie.
Isn't that a Larry the Cable Guy line?
Oh yeah, that's it.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, Twisted, if you want to put a link up here for us, feel free, man.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have Twisted's channel.
Moonchild should get up here.
I know, right? Moonchild, you don't have to show yourself. Just shit.
Come
If you
on up,
talk,
neighbor.
I'll know it's you because I've heard you before. But you're a lot of fun, Moonchild. Oh, thanks, Independent. I'll grab that. I've been chatting with Twisted for the entire last year and did not have the channel. Rock on.
I don't know how you guys find channels so fast.
I don't know, but she did it.
It amazes
You
me.
do it all the time too. Like I'll go try to find someone's link, and before I even get to the other tab, you or Indy's posting it already.
Well, some people I'll save. To be perfectly honest, I have a fair list of people that I don't watch regularly, but that get requested often. So I keep the link subscribed so I can quickly grab it and put it in the chat. I'll totally honest. There's some of those.
Good night,
That
Rescue.
makes sense.
Happy New Year. I appreciate you being here.
Good night, Rescue. All right. So what are you looking forward to this year? What do you think's the best thing that's going to happen and the worst thing that's going to happen? Like, not to get too far into the worst, but anticipation. What are you hoping for, and what are you like? This might happen.
Somebody else go while I'm thinking about that.
I don't know about the best, but I can tell you I don't worry about the worst. Whatever I worry about's going to happen ain't going to happen. So
Right.
I'll just deal with it when it gets there. The best, I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
I got to agree with you there, Best Light. Usually the worst things that happen kind of sideline me. I never saw it coming.
Right. You can sit there and worry about something that's going to happen, and that's,
And
at
it's
least
not
in my
gonna.
experience, that's never what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll third that. As far as fearing, I've said elsewhere that what kicks your ass is going to be your worst fear.
Yeah.
As far as the best, I guess I don't have an answer either.
I try to live not letting fear of tomorrow rob the joy of today. Because, like we already said, usually the bad that you worry about is not going to happen. Hey, the best thing that could happen to me is just surviving another year, I guess.
Okay.
If I'm still here irritating people next New Year's Eve, that's cool.
Right.
I hope I'm here to see it.
What, see me irritate people?
Yeah, I hope I'm here for you to irritate next year.
Me too, man. Both
Yeah,
of them.
amen. What do you think, D-Dog?
The best possible thing could be what I posted in regular chat. Basically, just resetting the whole government. But I know I'm going to hit my goal of sitting down and talking to at least 30 different sheriffs this year,
Mm-hmm.
and have be able to give my 5-hour speech about the Constitution and the power of the authorities at high schools. I'm trying to do 9 of them this year.
Good.
I did 4 of them last year, so I figure I'll do 9 this year.
Mm-hmm. So educating others.
Right.
It's interesting you bring that up because I think I would reckon quite a few sheriffs don't even realize the power they have. They're just holding the badge. Like, really don't really look deeply and research into their ability to influence and mitigate. I had no idea until this year that sheriffs were one of the top notch players in your enforcement locally. I really didn't. I did not know that they were above so many people to the point, I think, what's the highest person they can arrest? What was it?
Governor.
Oh, they got
Governor.
Governor, sure.
Okay.
Sitting governor. You don't even have to
Can
impeach the
anyone
governor.
else do that?
No.
All right.
And he doesn't need a judge. He can write the warrant on his own if it's a constitutional violation.
I did not know that previous to this year. I'll be totally honest. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of sitting sheriffs didn't know it either.
Yeah, but if a sitting sheriff, today would do that, he would end up getting arrested and have to go through a world of hurt. Now we have to finish educating the rest of the sheriffs, and we don't need them all. All we need is 25%. That's like 800 sheriffs.
Mm-hmm.
And that 800 sheriffs will flip the entire country.
Really?
Interesting. That is so interesting. I'd
That's
never
only a
thought of it
quarter
that
of
way.
them, because there's 3,080 sheriffs in America.
Okay.
All we need is 800.
What is the significance of that 25% number?
That's enough to get things happening.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Prohibition was overturned by 144,000 affidavits,
That's all.
and that's all it took out of 200 and some million people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I estimate the people doing notices and affidavits correctly is about 1.4 million right now. So I have my people numbers. I got to get my sheriff numbers.
Interesting.
I'd really like to have 3.3 million people, but you know that grows every day,
Mm-hmm.
and the growth now is crazy. It could be 2, 3, 400 people every day, 1,000 people every day, 2,000 people every day. Weekends are crazy.
Okay, so who can arrest a sheriff?
Nobody. The people have control over the sheriff. If the sheriff is not doing his job, in 100 days you can replace him.
Okay. I'm
And that
struggling
involves
wrapping my
a
mind
special
around.
election or what?
Yeah, through the
Well,
election.
that would end up being a special election.
All right.
Now, if you're in one of the states that doesn't have a sheriff, like what's that one? Connecticut. I think they even got rid of all their counties.
Really?
You got to fight to get your sheriff. And the states that have taken the sheriff's job and diminished it to just presenting papers instead of doing his job, presenting papers and running the jail. That's all that I think 6 states let the sheriff do. We got to get those sheriffs to be back to constitutional, because those sheriffs aren't even allowed to arrest people.
Huh. Okay. That's an avenue I'll explore more. I had no idea until recently the power of a sheriff. No clue, not gonna lie. Just so what gives them that authority? What part of the Constitution gives them that upper hand?
Because out of all the elected officials,
Mm-hmm.
he is the only one that only answers to the people.
Okay.
He
All
doesn't
right.
answer to the
So how do
governor.
the people talk to him? Like, and I'm not being facetious. I'm super interested in this because that's what I believe is going to start to make change is the small folks that we don't think are making a big change, like the sheriffs. I didn't know. So how do we effectively create change with our sheriffs?
And I'm giving you a website.
Okay. All right. No, that's
Very
fair.
good.
That's fair. I appreciate the leads because a lot of us feel powerless and don't know where to start and who to talk to and who to go to and trust and try and make something happen. So I appreciate it very much. All right.
Okay, on that website, which is CSPOA, which is Constitutional Sheriff and Peace Officer Association.
Okay.
Under info, vet your sheriff.
Okay.
And then
I'll
there's
put it in
another,
the chat.
right? And then there's another one. Basically print these out. Everything in info. Vet your sheriff. Statement of Constitutional Sheriff and CSPOA brochure, and hand all that to your sheriff.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and give them my YouTube channel and tell them to watch the first 4 videos
All right.
under Constitutional Sheriff. And the first one has Chris Ann Hall. And if you started at just under 36 minutes, you get past all the pandering. And then you actually learn about the Constitutional Sheriff and the history of it going all the way back to the Anglo-Saxons.
All right.
And then the next one is David Barton for wall builders, and he gets into the Constitutional Sheriff pretty heavy. And then the third one is another wall builders with Sheriff Mack, who's the founder of CSPOA. And he gets really heavy into the sheriff.
Okay. Excellent.
And then the fourth one is actually Douglas V. Gibbs. He's also known as Mr. Constitution. He actually lives in California, and he teaches at 2 universities and 1 high school. And that's all he does is teach the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And his video, I think, is the shortest one of about 15 minutes. But I think I have 15 or 20 videos there.
Excellent.
And when you go meet your sheriff, give him one of these.
Absolutely.
When you meet your mayor, give him one of these. When you meet your county commissioner, give him one of these. The sole purpose of government, and it's even in almost every single federal document, the sole purpose of government is to protect our rights.
That is it. You've assigned quite a bit of homework here tonight, Devil Dog.
Well, I gave you easy homework.
I appreciate it, man.
I haven't asked you to take this 10-hour class, have I?
No, you have
Okay,
not.
then I won't.
It's all movie day for class today.
Yeah.
And I haven't talked about law, have I?
Not at all.
The Bible.
Founders?
The Founder's Bible.
Oh,
I love this one because it has American history inside it. And the scriptures is the Geneva Bible. And when our Constitution was written, George Washington showed up with 1 Geneva Bible, and Benjamin Franklin showed up with 2. So there's a fact that there was 3 Bibles at the figuring out of the Constitution. And if you go through the Constitution point for point, there's 4,500 words in the Constitution, not including the amendments. And out of that, there's 1,500 scriptures that are referenced in there.
is that right?
So it's a paper of God. And if you go before 1870, 1890, and you find an old law book, it'll tell you what the law is, a description of the law, and then where in the Bible you're going to find it. There's only 613 laws that we have to follow. Because we only follow laws having to do with nature, natural laws.
Morning, Eimer.
Well, I've read from the very beginning of this nation's history, when people were getting off of boats, usually the person that was running whatever government they had was the preacher.
Right.
Yeah.
The preacher was the center hub of a community.
Right. And I guess the lawgiver.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we
Yeah, it
allegedly
was-
separated tax and tithe, but that's a lie.
let's
Church
see.
and state, I mean, church and state, it became tax and tithe. It is tax and tithe. It's the same thing that's always happened.
Yeah, the church
Good
and
morning,
state
Huckleberry.
thing, we can take the history of that phrase back to the 1500s.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. But
Well,
what they used to get the bullshit like the Johnson Act to pass, which requires the all the churches to, become a nonprofit and file with the government, what they're doing, who's preaching, and all this other stuff, is a letter between Thomas Jefferson and God, I can't remember his name. He was a minister for the New Baptist Church. I think it was in Massachusetts. And he was worried about the First Amendment because it looks like the government has some control over the church. And Thomas Jefferson's reply was that um, the the reason it's written like that is to tell the government that they can't put their fingers into the church at all, but the church has to stay within the government.
absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more.
And if you want, well, maybe I'll go to Wall Builders and pull that up for you real quick. But it's right on Wall Builders' site.
Yeah, I was just about to say that I personally don't believe in separation of church and state.
I do.
You do?
I
Yep,
do too.
100%.
But they didn't actually do it. They say they did, but they didn't.
Well, I think the state needs to be founded on maybe not church principles, but the Bible, the religious principles in the Bible.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's a tough call because we have freedom of religion, which is not the Bible for everyone.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah, but we have the Trinity Act, or not Trinity decision, which it took the Supreme Court 10 years to go through our founding documents, and in their opinion, is that we are a Christian nation built on Christian principles.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
But
Yeah.
do we not still support freedom of religion?
Yeah.
Well, Congress shall make no law establishing a religion.
Mm-hmm.
I think people should be free to worship as they choose. However, back to Devil Dog's point, we are a Christian nation, and I think we should stay that way.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
The laws of other religions don't come into play here, whether they like it or not.
Well,
That's just me.
they do and they don't. And I really, I'm way too sleepy to get heavy into that one.
Yeah, and my wife's going to be mad at me for coming to bed after 5 o'clock too. So.
All right, Tom, do you need to go to bed, Tom? You don't have to keep sitting just because we're sitting if you have to go.
Oh, hey, I'm good for a few minutes.
All right, just let us know. Don't.
Need to get into anything real heavy though.
Okay, gotcha.
There's David Barton's Wall Builders website, and just poke around in there because he has so many documents from Pilgrim era all the way up to 1820. They have over 100,000 original documents, and they have more Pilgrim era documents from the early 1600s than the Smithsonian.
Interesting.
Like I just got my access number a little while ago for the National Archive. The National Archive only has 3% of our founding documents.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah, but it's 20 billion pages.
Wow.
That's 3%.
Man,
In essence, none of us could ever read that
we couldn't.
No.
word for word.
Well, if you actually look at America, there's over 20,000 laws having to do with travel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was that ridiculous.
It is. There's 13,000 federal laws that favor women over men.
Really?
Like, in what way? When you say that, what's the first one that comes to mind?
I don't know. I got like 20 of them running in my head right now.
Well, pick one out.
What's the worst one?
Yeah. In your perception, what's the most oppressive?
Having to do with labor,
Oh.
because the tax deductions these companies get for hiring women, and if they hire a black woman, holy crap! And if it's an Indian woman, wow.
Mm-hmm. So, sort of like affirmative action and maternity leave combined.
Well, in the 80s, I actually lost a job, and it was a good job. And I was the last person to get hired in. And the owner actually apologized to me and says, he's really sorry that, I got the job and stuff after doing it for 6 months. But he needs to get the tax deduction, so he has to hire a black female.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just black. There was quotas for this box, this box, this box, this box. It we can't say it was just one thing. There's every single pocket had to be filled, and
You told
a
me to pick
lot
out
of
one
good
thing.
people were stepped over as a result.
Virginia, you told me to pick out one thing.
Yes. You're right. I'm sorry.
I was passed over for a job back in the 80s, and I lost the job to a man who could not write a coherent sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He had to get somebody else to write memorandums to other departments and stuff like that. And it's infuriating.
On what merit did he get the job?
His color.
Yeah.
And I hate to say stuff like that, but damn it, when it's true, you come out and say it.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I hear
And
you.
it was a long time ago, and I'm not upset about it anymore, but it wasn't right. And the entire department was degraded for the amount of time he was in charge.
Yeah. In that example, I can see that.
Yeah.
Do you guys know who Thomas Sowell is?
Oh, yeah. I love him.
He addressed Congress. It was either the late 70s or early 80s about how upset he is that they put the black community to where they were 30 years ago just with the Equal Rights Amendment.
Right. It set him back.
Right.
Yeah.
When you put a man in a position that he's not qualified to fill, you're not doing him any favors at all.
Yep.
Yeah, but if you look in the Marxist book, it's what they're supposed to do.
Is that right?
Yep.
That's this Communist Manifesto you were talking about?
Yep.
I've heard of that. I got to look into that too.
Oh, yes. The communist men. If you read that and think about everything you've seen in your life and where we are now, it is step by step happening.
I've seen little parts of it, but obviously not enough of it.
The mindset
Yeah, it's only 116 pages.
is short. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the mindset, and there's some things, honestly, you read through and it's like, oh, that's not a terrible idea, that idea, or this idea. But when you look at the whole thing as a big picture, it's like, whoa, wait a second.
Well, that's a common trick to force you to agree with something that you don't agree with and can't articulate why.
Mhm.
But, they can make it sound harmless or even good.
Mhm.
But, yeah, they've done wrong, really.
Well, that communism is not a political party.
Well, it's an ideology.
No,
Good morning, Vaughn.
it's a religion.
Oh, really?
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Happy New Year, sir.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year's.
How is beautiful Baltimore tonight?
Yeah, it's still beautiful for the time being.
Right on.
Yeah, it's beautiful for the time being.
You get some warm rain out there tonight?
Yeah, sure did. Then it's supposed to went down to 10 degrees. Supposed to go down to 10 degrees, and then it's supposed to be in the 60s next
Wow.
few days. Yeah.
When's 10? Tomorrow night?
Yep.
Or tonight, I guess. I don't know.
Yep. It's supposed to go down to 10.
Well, I guess
be
we'll
right
get it.
back. I got to call my buddies in Hawaii and wish them a Happy New Year.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got on the conversation. Y'all were talking about communists and the minorities and things like that.
Yeah, what's your thoughts?
Well, I always thought that I do know Thomas Sawyer as far as what he was talking about in front of Congress. But my thought is, I don't think that no one shouldn't have been taken from somebody and given to someone else, because the person that you give it to is going to get mad at the person that you took it from. So, but I do believe that what the system inputted and the way they input things and how they pushed a group of people down, that gave them a lot of reason why the people could not excel. Most people don't want handouts. I don't care what race you are. They don't want handouts. They rather work on themselves and come up with the grassroots come up. But when you have a system pushing you down and not giving you what you need to excel, and then turn around and say, you know what, I'm going to give it to you, even though you don't have the qualification to do it, what you're doing is just bringing a division within the group of people. And some people need to realize that what the system is doing. There's nothing wrong with the person who has the ability, nor the ones that don't. It's a system that's being implemented, just like the Marxist system is going to be implemented, just like a democracy system being implemented. So it's the system that really brings a group of people down, and it makes them hard to accept. And when you give things to a group of people like welfare, you give that, and they get used to it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to act a certain way.
Sure.
But welfare is two ways. You can't say, people say, well, don't give the people welfare at the bottom. Don't give them welfare, but you got company welfare. So both of them should not get it. If you're going to say these people don't get it, it should be the same for the people at the top. Corporations shouldn't get welfare, just like people at the bottom shouldn't get it. If we're going to say it like that. I mean, if we're going to say stop one, but let the other ones keep getting it, that'd be unfair.
People that need it should get it.
Right.
And it shouldn't be their career. It should be the stepping stone to help get them to a better place.
Mm-hmm.
But now we got people laying around drawing checks, and there's not a thing in the world wrong with them. They've just learned how to game the system,
Right. Yeah.
and that's what's killing us.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. But I also don't think corporations shouldn't get a bailout if they created the reason why the bailout is being, is, you know what I'm saying, the situation is being done. You can't give corporations bailout and then they move overseas and make triple the money that they getting. You know what I'm saying? I think that's unfair, just as a reason why someone is sitting and gaming the system, because both of them is gaming the system. Both sides are gaming the system. The corporations and the person who is sitting home just sitting there and know they have the ability to go out and do what they need to excel. You know, so if I gotta say they wrong, I gotta say both sides is wrong.
Oh, well, especially the corporations. I mean, I don't agree with bailing any of them out. If you run your business into the ground, that ain't my problem.
Right.
That's your problem.
Right.
Straighten yourself out.
Right.
Like General Motors, and they never paid that money back. And I don't know how much money was given to General Motors because they were considered, what was the term, too big to fail.
Right. Right.
We can't afford to let General Motors go down. Sure,
Right.
we can.
Yeah.
Sure, we can.
Sure. Yeah. They had money just sitting in the bank.
That's the thing.
Yeah. And then all of that, and then they still keep the price of the cars the same. You know, how can you get a bailout and don't bring the prices down? You know, so that is unfair as far as welfare. No company should be. If they're $1 billion or $1 trillion company, why are we paying tax dollars for them to get bailed out? You know, if my business go belly up, I gotta just say, oh well, I just gotta, you know. But big corporations getting bailed out, you know. If we're gonna stop one part of welfare, we gotta stop them both. And just because you connected, you got political connection, and you pass, you know, you lobbied and get this money like that. That's unfair. That's, you know, it's like I'm working to pay your business to keep growing. And how can you say you're a self-made millionaire or billionaire if you getting incentive and subsidies to keep your money, to keep your corporation going? How can you say you're a self-made billionaire?
You're a taxpayer-made billionaire.
Right.
That's what you are.
Right.
No, I never advocated doing away with welfare. I think welfare is necessary for a very select group of people that just cannot, you know, you're disabled. People that can't think well enough to hold a job.
Okay. I'd like to address that one.
Do that.
Welfare needs to go away. Period. Dot. Because it's a federal overreach. It's unconstitutional. And why should California have to pay for Detroit?
True.
And, you know, vice versa. It's something that has always in tradition been responsibility of the community or the state.
I agree there. Good morning, Steel and Tree.
Man, if we do that, then we have to get rid of the whole system.
Right.
And we have to get, you know, because like I said, corporations can't get welfare. If people at the bottom can't get welfare, then corporations shouldn't get it either. Our tax dollars should not go to corporations or any type of company. So if we say there, then we must say here. And our founding fathers, they was getting paid from tax dollars that we was doing. They was getting paid from that. Just like before they had formed this corporation, they was giving tax dollars to the crown. So it has to be even, but it's not even. You got people that works for the government, that's a contract for the government, and gets money, which is our tax dollars. That means our tax dollars should be doing as far as keeping protection or whatever like that. But These corporations are making billions of dollars, billions every year.
Well, none of our founding documents ever said the government's job is to protect us.
Right.
And anything having to do within the borders is the responsibility of the states. The federal government needs to pull their fingers out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That I agree. Yeah, if the states have, because the states can protect themselves.
Well, that every state has their own militia.
Right. That's
Yeah.
true. Right. Right. So yeah.
So the National Guard has to go away.
Well, the National Guard. Well, the state can have their own. They actually, the National Guard is more so under the state than it is the federal government. Remember, Washington became president because he was able to unite the state's union military.
The militia.
Right. So, the militia, basically just became the National Guard. So, but the National Guard, under law, which each state, they can override the president. If the president say, I need the National Guard to go here, the governor of that state can override him.
You say no.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the president can't do anything with the National Guard. And the governor can say, hey, I'm taking my National Guard and doing this. And then they have to ask the president to see if it's okay. So the National Guard has to go away. It could be, whatever state guard, so that it is truly a possession of the state.
Well, yeah, but if that's the case, and you say the president can do that, that means they put an amendment to that law, because it wasn't like that from the founding fathers and from the beginning. So that means over time they must have put an amendment that that the president has some type of power to But okay.
Yeah, but it's not constitutional. Like a lot of governors took and sent National Guard down to help Texas out.
Right.
And even though the White House says you can't do that, they still did it, because it doesn't matter what the White House says, because they ain't got shit on your governor.
Right. Yep. That's why I said the government. Yeah.
You understand the authority of political power, right? That if you look in every single constitution for every state, God is in the preamble.
Right.
Some sort of thanks to God for helping them, make this state. And then within the Bill of Rights, usually within the first three of the Bill of Rights, it always says all political power is inherent in the people. And the people made communities, so they have the next level of political power. And then the communities made your counties, so that's the next level. And then the counties made the states, and then the state made the federal government. Like the United States Constitution has zero to do with us. It tells the federal government what their limitations are, and the state is supposed to use the Nullification Act to keep them in check. But the states don't do their job.
And that's the reason why, because they got used to being under and being funded under the federal government and relying on the federal government.
Right.
And when that happens, you become, just like it says in the Bible, wherever your debt belongs to, you become the slave to the debtor. So that means that's where the even though it's unconstitutional and by law, by them being lower than by federal funding and taxes, that's why they still put up with what the federal government wants.
Would you happen to know which scripture that was? Because I really like that one.
It's in Proverbs. I don't know exactly what scripture, but I know it's in Proverbs. Whoever did that.
If it has to do with governance, it's probably in Proverbs 3 or 7.
It should say, whoever you own a debt, you become a slave to the debtor.
And that's very true.
Our brother from Aussie's here today, too. Hey Shane, how are you doing?
Shane, hello.
Man, that's why I think that a lot of these laws are pretty much, depends on which law you're talking about. Is pretty much holding us down. Then when I say us, I'm talking about us as a whole,
Right.
nationality.
Us as the people.
Right, as the people, and I think it keeps us in a shackle that it's hard for them to move to the right or to the left or frontwards or backwards.
Good morning.
Hey, Happy New Year, do stuff, Nikki. Good to see you today. Oh man,
Is your mic muted, Nikki?
yeah, we can't hear you, Nikki.
Not hearing you.
It doesn't show on our side that her mic is muted.
Still can't hear you.
Yeah, probably got to go and come back.
Yeah, our whole nation ended up getting shortchanged, and that would be all because of South Carolina and Georgia. Because our Declaration of Independence, what we're on is the 5th draft. First and second draft was actually 4 pages, which the first page was similar to what our Declaration of Independence is, but the other 3 pages had to do with remedy. And
Okay.
page 3, which had Article 7 on it, is the same as our 13th Amendment now. So in 1776, slavery would have been done, but 2 states held out.
Is that was the southern states or the?
South Carolina and Georgia. And to give a little bit more, strength to that argument, in 1775, Thomas Jefferson had the Anti-Slavery Convention. So a year before our Declaration of Independence, he was fighting to free the slaves.
Yeah.
He had the same opposition. In 1787, with the Northwest Ordinance, for the Northwest Territory, that's everything northwest of the Ohio River. Article 6 in that is the same as our 13th Amendment. So that's in 1787. So anything in the Northwest Territory, slavery was illegal.
Yeah.
It took 100 years to write the 13th Amendment.
Right. Well, I think and you said North Carolina and what's the other state that wouldn't apply?
South Carolina and Georgia.
Oh, okay.
There's a really good interview with Glenn Beck, because he's the one who actually purchased the second draft of the Declaration of Independence.
Mm-hmm.
And Dave Rubin, and he actually shows it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Now my memory's coming back. That's right.
Yeah, that was about a year ago.
Yeah. But as time went on, the more southern states that came on did the same thing as South Carolina and Georgia, correct?
Right, because with the Louisiana Purchase, it was
right.
all, about trying to make slave money.
Right.
Which America proved the same thing the world already knew, is that communities that use slavery or underfunded help don't progress.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you look at the North, they had all types of automations, and they were, like light years ahead of everyone in the South, because they couldn't keep up, with technology, because they were too focused on using slave labor.
Right. Yeah.
And nobody except for David Barton, Thomas Sowell, God, what's that other gentleman's name? Something Perryman.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only three people I've ever heard talk about the ratio of black to white in the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And God, I'm trying to remember the fourth gentleman that was talking about the 600,000 Irish slaves, because the Irish weren't considered white or black.
Yeah, they was. Yeah, that's when the England. Yeah, England did bring over Irish, especially after they fought in the war, and a
Right.
lot of prisoners of war and prisoners, and they brought them over because if they got paid more for them because the language was better and than it was when it came from the African slaves. Yeah, that's true. But down the southern, it was still slave up north, like what you explained when it comes to different counties and stuff like that. It was still some slaves up there. It's just that most of the mistreatment of slaves was done down the south. And
Right.
that's the reason why they couldn't progress. Just like it says in the Bible, when God says that you mistreat a slave, I will have that slave overtake you, just like I did in Egypt when I brought you out of Egypt. So most of the people down south was mistreating slavery. And it wasn't just black, it was the white slaves they was mistreating. It was the Chinese who came over in San Francisco and in parts of Mississippi that was not Mississippi, but Alabama. Then you had German slaves in Mississippi when you came up with the monetary spending there. So they had slaves that they was mistreating, and then when the federal came in, as far as the army, they had it in law. They get 10% of your land, but they was taking 40%, 50%. So everybody was suffering and being mistreated down south than it was up north. And that's why up north had got the latest technology, because they wasn't doing the mistreatment as it was doing down south.
Right. And David Barton actually puts numbers on it that 60% of the slaves were actually white. And Thomas Sowell said that 90% of the slaves, 90% of the slaves were owned by blacks.
Really?
Oh,
In America?
Yes.
well,
Wow.
yeah, but what year though? See, he's
Right.
taking numbers. He's taking numbers. When he gathered his numbers, he's taking it in a census that was done at a certain time. That yes, it was at that time blacks were the lead slave owners, but
Right.
numbers he took it. If he took it from another era till that era, it would be depends. And then you have to go by how they it was some black people who was considered white.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that
And it was all by stature.
right. It was by statute, right? And then you was able to pay to become white statute. You know what I'm saying? So that means a black person can become white, an Indian can become white, then a white person can become white. We have to understand a German person wasn't considered white, or Irish person wasn't considered white.
Or French.
Right, or French, right. So then you had Creoles. So when they took that census, we have to go by how they take it and things like that. And what did they consider slaves, and what did they consider indentured too?
Well, an indentured servant and a slave are pretty much the same.
Well, okay, let me change it this. When I say slave, I'm talking about chattel. Chattel, you considered a slave for life, and indentured, you was a working slave. That means you had a contract at a certain period of time. Now, chattel could become a manunism. They could become manunism.
Yeah, but the one where you have a contract and stuff, that's voluntary servitude.
Oh yeah, voluntary. Yeah, that's true. Yep, voluntary servitude. Or yeah, I see your point greater than I see mine, because you could be well, when I say chattel, you could be a servitude by prison. Like if you went to jail or you was in prison, that would be considered a servitude, but that's not by force. That's by that you did a crime and things like that.
No, that's forced servitude.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking involuntary. My
Look,
bad.
I hate to cut this off, but
Yeah,
if I don't get to bed,
Tom's
I'm
falling
gonna be
asleep on us, my
damn in
man.
the daytime. Ghetto, I'm sorry we missed you, man. I wish we'd have started
Oh,
this earlier because this is fascinating to me.
oh, you're good. All good. All good.
Well, listen, I'm going to have to call tonight. I do appreciate everybody being here, and I got to say, and Ghetto, you're going to relate to this. I do appreciate everybody being sober and
Yes.
having a good conversation. I really like this. I want to do more of it. So, listen, thank everybody. Happy New Year. And I'm going to go to bed.
Yep. Hey, Ghetto, your hair's getting kind of long. It's almost time for a haircut.
Another one, huh?
Have a good one.
See you later, brother.
All right.
Now, I
Have a
don't
good
know
one, everyone.
if you guys want to stay together, I can go ahead and shut down and you can, or I don't know what's going to happen when I turn this off.
No, we're good. I gotta try to get a nap before my phone starts ringing in about 2.5 hours.
All right. And all right.
Yeah, thanks for having me up, Tom.
And thanks for coming. Definitely. And I
thanks,
hope we can do this again.
Yeah, that's no problem.
All right.
All right,
Vaughn, really good to see you. Now, listen, I got to ask Vaughn, are you already up or are you still up?
I'm already up.
I
I
hear
had went to sleep on Ghetto and them, and when they was in prepper time, I was trying my best to stay up. But I had went to sleep, and then I woke back up. Them bad boys was gone. I said, God damn.
Copy
Whole
that.
doggone thing going on. I said, God damn. I said, shit. But yeah, I went to sleep. I with my son, and then he went to sleep, and I went to sleep.
Right on. Hey, Nikki, I'm sorry you didn't make it up, but please try it again. We'll do this again. Hey, God bless everybody. Happy New Year. And with that, good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Happy
night.
New Year's.